I, I here's the thing about shoot 'em up. So we have shoot 'em ups and we have beat 'em ups.
Okay.
We call them shmups, but we don't call them bum ups. If we're talking about like,
you don't.
I just don't want to say shmup. I don't want to say shmup with my mouth. It's such a bad word. I hate it.
Ugh, shmup.
Shmup. Oh, I got shmup all over me.
Oh, Boobala, you got a little shmup on you. Jorge, how was your Rocket City Retro Fest?
It was great. I had a good time. It was just a quick little weekend getaway for us because it was a few hours drive, right?
Romantic.
Yeah.
I gotta say, getting into the city was really pretty. I liked the hill that we crested. I liked seeing all the lights on the town reflecting against the rivers and such. It was like actually genuinely really pretty. Even
at night, it was a nice little drive. And then while we were there, we had a table. We set up. We were selling our art and I actually brought in a lot of used games.
Yeah, you brought in quite a few.
Yeah, I'm glad I did because like I actually did sell quite a bit. So next time I go to another Retro City convention, I should just bring games I'm trying to get rid of.
I think that was my first dedicated retro game swap meet. I don't think I've ever actually been I've been to cons that had retro games, but like a room specifically just for retro games, I think that was my first one.
It's overwhelming because I'm used to all the cons and events I go to just have like one or two used games.
Because like MagFest will have like 2 booths and I'll be like, ooh, got some Sega Saturn games, and I'll spend a few minutes looking.
More than 2. MagFest got
but you know what I mean?
dozen.
Like it's got just a few.
But imagine the whole thing is just retro game.
I told you this, but like the funniest thing to me is now I can see a shift in the retro game collection scene, which is you no longer just have games by console. You have like NES, SNES, Sega Genesis, Game Boy, and then a whole separate section that is just Pokemon. Like console agnostic Pokemon.
Well, that's unfortunately become the big liquid item now.
Yeah.
I joke and call it like a few years ago it was Funko Pop. Now it's Pokemon. It's just a trend.
Yeah.
Pokemon came back real hardcore after COVID.
Well, and like it was cards too, which I feel like a lot of the vendors were like a little annoyed that like, okay, let's stick to the games, folks.
Yeah, because cards are like the end thing now. TCG it does really well for resellers. And make no mistake, this is an event full of resellers.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole. It's a swap meet. Like it is for game stores and used games and that sort of thing. So like that's literally its sole purpose. So you can't exactly be mad at them.
But I mean I do get the frustration. It's another thing that's just kind of invading what used to be a space just for retro or for all retro games in general. You can argue Pokemon is a retro game, sure, but like what Kyle means when he says like there's so much Pokemon, it's literally the card game and that's it.
Yeah. It felt like some aspects of the con felt like Pokemon convention featuring old video games.
Pokemon TCG featuring old games. And you know, not to diss on Retro City too much. The show was like 70% like retro.
Oh
games
yeah.
Stuff,
Yeah.
So
And
at least the majority is still rules there.
And every couple hours, David Wise would play on his saxophone. We got to hear like,
oh yeah, he was there.
Yeah, he was there, and
Fox McCloud.
Fox
McCloud, whose name I forget. I can't believe this.
Is it Steve Malpass?
Yeah, so he started voicing Fox in Smash Bros. Melee.
And Melee was his first one. Okay.
Yeah. So
with
kind of iconic, honestly.
Come on! And
yeah.
For it.
But that is iconic though. Like
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true.
People remember that Fox just as much as N64 Fox.
Fire!
He also
remember that scene in Star Fox 64. Remember that scene where he lights himself on fire and dive bombs towards an enemy?
Yeah, when he like game? Jumps out of the R-wing and like just like Super Saiyans into
what is that supposed to be?
Just a thing he can do, I guess.
I guess so.
The fun thing about early Smash Brothers is how they had to make shit up. They would never do that now. Everything has to be based on like a thing that the character can do in the game.
At least with Captain Falcon, it's like, oh, okay, you know, this is like kind of the the racing is kind of like wrestling. He's like I don't know, it carries. And I get most of Fox's stuff. Okay, he's got a gun, he's got a reflector.
Falcon, the way you feel about Fox McCloud, by the way.
It's just, I'm just saying, I just need a little. He's on fire. He lights himself on fire.
He's on fire. Boom,
and dive bombs.
You can say like the gun. He has that. We've seen him use that in the Star of Fox. There is like lore reason the reflector is like a Slippy invention. He wants you to test it out.
Yeah, the little dash thing is like, okay, I can see that.
Now the dash and the side B and the up B are like he can do that, I guess.
Yeah, we're just the DBZ character now, sure, whatever.
But like, to be fair, so is Captain Falcon. Like he's when did he learn how to punch that good? I guess you can assume like that's how he fights the bad guys. But like, Captain Falcon also had a gun, and he never fucking uses it.
He didn't need to. He just for the love of the game. Oh, welcome to Brain Lords, Video Games of the Mind, a panel discussion between artists and the art they love. I'm your host, Kyle. I go by Cute Monster Props, and I'm an SFX artist for the video games industry. I work at Vulpin Props, making trophies for major esports tournaments, as well as life-size items, weapons, and characters from your favorite video games. And with me is a very special co-host. He almost became a Jill sandwich. He's sturdy like the base of a mountain. He says fuzzy pickles. His fishing hat reads, Mavericks fear me, Reploids want me. He's my favorite Chico from Puerto Rico. Jorge, aka JMV, aka J-Man Velas, aka El Hermano de Pipi Slick, aka Kagetsudo, aka one of the most prolific illustrators and designers for Fangamer, aka one half of Brain Lords podcast, aka Sophia Toshinden's biggest fan.
Sophia Toshinden's doormat.
Her bravest soldier.
Dude, thanks. I was not expecting a Brain Lords intro, but
I wanted to give it to you for the year anniversary, but then you wrote your copy, so I didn't have it like.
So you're like, oh
quite,
fuck.
Well, and I wanted to make sure it was like dialed in just right.
Bro, I could have given you some like real deep cuts if you wanted to.
No,
really,
but I had to do it myself.
Oh, I was afraid of some of the shit you were gonna say.
There were some things that made it on the cutting room floor and got tossed.
Oh, you gotta show me.
I'm not about to look up some of your DeviantArt stuff and dig around there.
That's the public stuff. Anyway,
I know.
Yeah. Hello. I'm gonna sit with that one, Kyle. You gotta give me some of those so I can use them permanently.
Sure.
I think it's funny you use Kaiget still. That was like, that's my old artist name when I was a fucking weeb.
I haven't been called that name in many years.
Yeah, that's a name I've not heard in a long time. Do you know him? Of course I know him. It's me. Thank you, Kyle. I will not intro myself after that.
Well, I guess is there anything specifically you would like to highlight that you've worked on, or?
I don't really have anything to plug right now. We did just launch like some new mouthwashing stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, hey, the vinyl looks dope as hell. That's cool looking.
Yep. The mouthwashing devs got a pretty good artist for that one, so it's extremely good.
I like the white and the red on the vinyl for like a bloodshot eyeball. That's fun.
Yeah. And we also launched a cassette tape for mouthwashing.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly sold decently well.
The DIY and punk scene is really big into that because it's really easy to do. So there is a demand for it. Not a huge one, but
I mean, I own a fan-made Barbuda cassette tape. That's just like it's like someone making the album for Barbuda from UFO 50. So because the game has no soundtrack.
Oh, I see. So it's like a
so it's like a fan-made. Let me get the name real quick. Yeah, it's Chip Topaz. And it is just called Barbuda.
Barbuda. Okay,
yeah, it's like a dungeon synth album. Kind of are meant to play it while you play Barbuda.
Ooh, okay, I like that. All right, yeah. I'll have to check that out. Well, today's topic is let's rename video game genres. Video games are unique in just how much they require you to feel them in person to truly experience them. As such, we've created genre names to help categorize the vast depths of what video games have to offer, like action, adventure, action-adventure, RPG, JRPG, CRPG, MMORPG, action RPG, Soulslike, Castlevania, and who can forget golf games.
A golf game.
If this classic tongue-in-cheek Brainlord's thesis wasn't obvious enough, we're breaking down some of the genre names in need of fixing and offering our own solutions.
Yo, what was that? Second to last one again?
Castletroids was one of these suggested. It was before Metroidvanias. Other folks were arguing for Castletroids.
Ew. I'm glad we. Yep. I mean, I don't like Metroidvania much, but I'm glad we didn't get Castletroid.
I can't. I don't know if it was like entirely in jest or if people are like, no, Metroidvania is too stupid. Castletroids is at least like a little bit more agnostic of a name.
No, it is not. They're both bad. Anyway, wow, bad. Kyle, this topic is a funny topic. We've been thinking about this for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like my wife loves to complain about Soulslikes and Metroidvanias so much, and not me.
Okay, I just thought it was funny when you said my wife likes to complain. I was like, where's this going? Anyway, sorry, go on.
No, it's just, and to be fair, like while she's, heavily invested in games as a scene and culture, a medium, an art form, she always feels like the most disenfranchised she feels is when she has to, like, with a straight face, look me in the eyes and say Metroidvania. I can see her soul leaving her body.
It's wild that one caught on. I mean, I guess if you are present in video game spaces, that term does mean something. It immediately like paints a picture in your head and you don't really question it. But the more you think about it, the more it is kind of like an insular.
If you're not deeply ingrained, it makes not a goddamn lick of sense.
No, because like if there are people, there are people who know what Metroid and Castlevania are, but they don't know why a game would be called Metroidvania.
Yeah. To video games' credit, I feel like part of the difficulty is the video games is trying, Jorge. Trying. But to be fair, I think it is exceptionally difficult to describe with a word how something feels. It's a little bit more broad of a concept. Like, video game genres are not like fantasy, and horror describes a very specific action in the game itself, like how the game feels. That's kind of the only one that does it. Like, it doesn't work like book genres. It doesn't work like movie genres or anything like that. Sort of works like music genres, because that more describes like a lot of where it usually came from instead of how the music sounds. But it's so nebulous, and you really don't know until you have something to compare it to.
It's probably because of how I hate saying this, because it is kind of a tired, repeated thing to say, but it's because games are so young compared to all other media. These terminologies, these genres, a lot of it was born out of like the inner community, like the community having no other guideline other than like, well, how was it done before? And I think music is the closest you can come to, because music cannot be like easily categorized sometimes, and then you have to come up with a new genre to just define, or at least like let everyone know, like, if you're looking for this is what it's called, so that way you can find more of it. And I think that's the utility of genres, really.
Yeah. So we have decided to take some of our more problematic and troublesome genre names and rename them. We're fixing them for you, dear listener.
We're going to delete them too. We'll
delete the old ones, and you can use the new ones and move on.
No cost to you, my friend.
Because the old ones stink, and we have some fixes for you.
They stink, and I don't like them.
They stunk. All right, so as an example, I might suggest something like action-adventure, and talk about how I don't like the fact that it gets used too often for things like open world games and exploration based games and things like Zelda or Red Dead Redemption. So I might point out that an action adventure game features, equal parts combat, exploration, and puzzles. The puzzles are usually solved with the same verbs as the action. They often feature a dramatic narrative And I might suggest that we call them something like puzzle fighters. So we're going to go back and forth. We've each picked 4 video game genres, and let's just riggedy roll. Jorge?
All right. I'm going first.
You don't have to, but you said so. You are now.
You know what? I picked 5, but I guess I'll cut down 1. You know what? Yeah, let me do that. I'll just cut down 1.
Yeah, make sure cut down the listener's favorite one. That's right, you listening right now, your favorite genre.
Yeah, that's right. Complain about it. Actually, no. I see what you're saying. That way they don't leave. Okay. So the first one I have here is the RPG. Funny enough, you made a joke about that in the intro. I actually, it's not. I actually do think the role playing game genre is defined pretty well. However, as time went on, it's a label that keeps being put on games that I feel like need a little bit better of a descriptor.
Okay.
And this has been happening for years. Like I remember, like Custom Robo on the GameCube was considered an RPG back then, and it's because there are like role-playing moments where you do play a character and you have to choose dialogue options during cutscenes. But when I tell people play Custom Robo, I don't say play Custom Robo the RPG, and I don't go like, yeah, if you like RPGs, you should play Custom Robo. So similarly now, even as recently as like last year when we got the Game Awards nominees for Best RPG, you had games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Clair Obscur. Expedition 33. These 2 games could not be more different than each other. So like, I'm pretty sure if you like boiled down or like separated the parts out of each game, you would eventually realize, okay, I guess we can use sandbox RPG for Kingdom Come, and I guess you can use turn-based RPG for Clair Obscur. But
okay, so what to you is like the distilled core? What do like generally RPGs have to have in order to be an RPG?
I mean, the role playing. So you have to be an active participant in the world and its events, and I feel like that is what defines an RPG. I kind of take umbrage with things like, oh, this has stats that go up and you can like spec your character out, and so it's an RPG. And I'm like, no, I don't think that quite defines an RPG, because then like we have games now like Donkey Kong Bananza where it's like, well, this game has stats. Is it an RPG? No. Even in this sense, it is kind of hard to find like what defines a pure RPG. I don't think there is such a thing.
I think the problem here is that like even historically, there was a point in which like something like Zelda was described as
an RPG back then.
Considered an RPG. You can look at older gaming publications. So is it simply just more of the like occupying the narrative in a more intense or like mechanical way than other games?
I think what happened is that it's a carryover from like D&D and like tabletop RPGs. Mm-hmm. And so when those things became translated to video games, then that genre was also came with that. It borrowed from the tabletop RPG genre.
Certainly.
And so like with games back then, that did have a utility, because like, okay, you're playing Ultima, you're playing Final Fantasy 1, Dragon Quest 1. Those are RPGs because they feel similar to what it's like to play a tabletop role playing. Mm-hmm. And they are inspired by that. So it's good to call them RPGs. But then like you said, Zelda comes around and it's like, is that an RPG? Well, maybe, but it falls more under the adventure side of things, because you're not really like messing with character stats. You're not really messing with like your actions aren't exactly influencing the world. You kind of are just like a little guy with a sword. And okay, so it's an RPG, you know, because like I think what happened is that fantasy became interchangeable with RPG, and that's what I was gonna say. Like I think we should bring back fantasy as a genre. I think that would better explain things like Zelda, or like let me think of another example nowadays. A real RPG now might be like Baldur's Gate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that would constitute the RPG genre in its entirety, and you would have no question towards that at all. But then like I said, Expedition 33, I sometimes I call it a JRPG because that's what it takes more inspiration from. It's no longer derivative of like the original source, like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and all this shit. There's no real solution here other than like just use the RPG genre as a label less and try to find something that instead of describing like the overall genre as a blanket thing, just get down to the more specific things. Like Zelda, I think, is a fantasy adventure, or Clair Obscur, I think, is a turn-based. It can be a turn-based role-playing game, but it's not a role-playing game. I would even argue that like if you're playing a game where the plot is not at all changed by your decisions and it's always going to be the same, are you really playing a role, or are you just watching cutscenes happen? Like, it's difficult to find a solution for this one because it is like, and maybe I should have done this one last because it's so ingrained in the lexicon now that it's hard to argue for like, hey, maybe we need a better descriptor for stuff like this.
So I guess you're saying then that like RPG is used a bit too broadly, and that we need
Very
to
broadly, yeah,
sort of
that's exactly what I'm saying.
describe games better with like the mechanics themselves being turn-based, being strategy, something like that. And you're saying that like RPG should be more strictly used for something that's like a Fallout New Vegas, a Baldur's Gate 3, something like that.
Yeah, like Fallout is a good. I would call Fallout an RPG. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you need the stats?
No, I don't think it used to back then, sure, but now I feel like it's such a ubiquitous mechanic. Like every game has stats now, so like I don't think that no longer describes an RPG, I guess.
I see. So I guess maybe you're saying like you could not have stats, but you would have to have enough mechanics that are contributing to you and your character's influence on the world. So I think stats are an easy example because like how you level up is how like you're affecting the world or progressing through it, or you're able to deal with it. But if you don't have stats, you need at least something that's like on that metric or like that involved.
Like is Borderlands an RPG?
That's a good point. Yeah, because you certainly have zero input on the world other than like a couple of one-liners through the story beats. You're right, but people would say that's like a shooter RPG.
It's a looter shooter.
Yeah, which is kind of based on like Diablo, which is more traditionally an RPG.
I would sooner call Diablo an RPG than I would Borderlands. Borderlands, I feel like, yeah, it's one of those games. It has stats, it has leveling up, it has skill trees, but no one is going to call that game an RPG. They're going to call it a looter shooter, which is what it is.
Yeah,
a first person looter shooter.
That's a good point, though. That like you're right. Like you don't have any effect on the world in Borderlands. So why are we leaning on the role playing aspect of it to describe it at all?
I guess that's my argument. It feels RPG feels like a blanket term, and it's time we kind of found alternatives to it.
So I guess then to wrap this up, like what is your name for the new genre? Genre? Sorry, your what are you renaming RPG to?
I would rename it to. Well, no, it's hard to say because like I just want RPG to be a role playing game. I guess like what tends to be used for RPG, I would either call adventure or fantasy, or I mean, I guess there should be a name for games that are very stats focused, even though they're not necessarily like role playing. So yeah, maybe I would call them like min-maxing games or spreadsheet games.
Honestly, spreadsheet game is actually, I like that one. No, let's do spreadsheet game.
I guess spreadsheet game would be like, do you like messing with stats even if they're not like entirely influential to the world you're inhabiting?
Well, I also like that
just like a superfluous side content to the game. I don't know.
I like that one too because it like leans in a little bit more towards the like depth of how you have to consider your influence on things. Like if you don't have to think about it in terms of a spreadsheet, then like dog, I'm sorry, you're playing a character action game with like a couple of items you're buying.
Yeah, like I like that you brought up Zelda because that is the best example of like how many people call it an RPG, but I just never liked that. Even back then, I remember, this is not like when I think RPGs, I don't think Zelda.
It's just a big world that's really cool. But you're right. Like
an adventure fantasy. It's a fantasy adventure. And like, what would be a spreadsheet game? I would like, I don't know. I would say, I mean, I don't know if the modern Armored Cores are still like this, but like classic Armored Core was like nothing but spreadsheet. Like just all these parts do a thing, and you gotta like min-max them, and you gotta like figure out which one's the best, or at least the ones you want to have. And you can correct me on this, but like
I like that too, because it doesn't strictly limit it to turn-based or action or whatever. You don't also have to make a distinction for action RPG or turn-based, because that covers Fallout, because you gotta treat that game like it's spreadsheet. It covers Armored Core, which is more just strictly action. So yeah, I like that. I think you got it.
Okay, well then yeah, spreadsheet. Like Fallout can be a spreadsheet RPG. And then Borderlands can be a spreadsheet shooter. There you go.
All right, well let's move on to my first game.
All right.
And also just quickly to kind of back up a little bit. We're talking about genres, and I think this is quickly able to get into the like, is a hot dog a sandwich kind of conversation.
This is 100% that, actually.
We will venture into that territory. So, dear listener, all I want to stress to you is that like, all we're trying to do is boil down the core elements of a genre, so that we can say like, the more of this it has, the more it kind of feels like appropriate to call it that.
I encourage you all to comment if you have an opinion.
Yeah. We're looking for the qualitative, not the quantitative here, because if we get too in the weeds and start talking about, well, what is a chair? A chair is anything that you sit in with four legs. Okay, well then a bathtub is a chair. Like, we're gonna get into this territory very quickly.
Then I'm a chair, because Battle Arena, Toshinden, and Sophia can sit on me. So,
that's true. Okay. Well, my first video game genre is the Soulslike.
Ooh. You went with this one, huh?
Initially, the genre just means a game that's like Dark Souls. But now that we've had like Sekiro, Bloodborne, Lies of P, Hollow Knight has like elements of like, now that we've really started to branch out, I think that doesn't really like, it doesn't really work anymore. And I think it is a genre. I don't think it should be compared to like, well, you need a dodge roll and you need to have bonfires and you need to like go back to your corpse when you like, no. So here to me is like the distilled core of the Soulslike. A Soulslike is a deliberate real-time action game with some degree of progression or stat-based mechanics. Mm-hmm. It has a high degree of risk and abilities to mitigate that risk. There is a major emphasis on world building.
Okay. Yeah, I think world building should be on there, yeah.
Yeah, that to me is the Soulslike. My suggestion for the new
Oh wait, before you get there, I want to ask some questions.
Yeah, go for it.
When you see a game described as a Souls-like, what is it exactly that you see that you go, no, it's not?
What makes me like disqualify something as a Souls-like?
Yeah, because I'm assuming this is where you're coming from, where you feel like, is the genre, the term Souls-like being used too much, or do you think the genre itself is not useful enough to describe the games that they usually do?
I think it's a little twofold.
Okay.
Like, the genre, I think, is more flexible than people are giving it credit for. I think we should stop getting into the weeds with, like, it needs to be dark fantasy. Like, I don't think that's useful anymore.
Okay.
And at the same time, I feel like there are a lot of games that are being qualified as Souls-like games because they have a dodge roll. And that's kind of it. Like,
oh, so you don't think a dodge roll does not make a Souls-like?
The most important thing there, I think, is deliberateness.
Okay.
There has to be sort of like a risk. Like, it's very methodical or thoughtful or like heavier, because otherwise you get into a territory where you're just describing a character action game. You're just describing a beat 'em up. Like, if it's not deliberate, then easily something like a Muso game, a Dynasty Warriors could be a Souls-like based on how I'm describing it. But you don't have like investment in like a very like broad atmospheric world in a Muso game.
Okay.
You don't really have any like progression that you're leveling up. Not maybe new equipment or something or new characters, but that's not a high level of investment. And most importantly, in a Muso game, there's not a high degree of risk. So I think you need kind of those those combinations of things.
I don't think people are out here calling Muso games Souls-like, though.
No, but I'm just trying to use that as an example so that like it's harder to like say, well, then Dynasty Warriors 5 could be a Souls-like based on what you're describing, or like Devil May Cry 3 is a Souls-like. Then
I mean, I guess like here's what I think of. Sometimes I see Team Ninja games described as Souls-like, and I disagree with that. Like that's not just because it's difficult and you dodge roll, like you said, and it's very much a game about like power dynamics between you and the enemy. I don't think that qualifies a game to be a Souls-like.
Yeah, I agree, because there's far less stat-based. No, I would say the Venn diagram, there's like maybe a little bit of connection when it comes to like risk and combat and deliberateness. But you're right, like the progression tends to be a lot more surface level. It tends to be just weapons and maybe a couple of items. It tends to be a lot more level based, or like the narrative is a lot more linear. Whereas I feel like in a Souls-like game, it's more about atmosphere. It's more about vibes.
Okay, and then so what is a non-Dark Souls game that you consider a Souls-like?
So I think a lot of people will point out that like it doesn't feel right to call something like Silk Song or Hollow Knight like purely a Souls-like, but it feels like there's something about that game that makes it feel like this feels more like a Souls-like compared to something like Symphony of the Night. Doesn't quite feel as much like a Souls-like. And what about that is? Now, partially it's because Hollow Knight did like take literal mechanics from Dark Souls. When you die, you have to go back to your corpse and retrieve it. But I don't think that's actually like what, like, I don't think a Souls-like is like a dark fantasy game where you have dodge rolls and you go back to your corpse. Like, I think there's something deeper there.
Would you consider Tunic a Souls-like? Because I would.
Yeah,
based on your qualifiers.
Yeah, I mean, the combat's very deliberate. The world is like heavily atmospheric.
Yeah, and you piece together the story through like clues instead of like a direct narrative.
Yeah, I would say the only thing it's maybe lacking is you basically you get items to progress your character, and there's some degree of like increasing your toughness or stamina or things like that. But like I think you need just like a little bit more. And then I think Hollow Knight operates on that same axis where like you're deliberate, there's the world building, but like I think that the final like qualifier you really need to feel like the most like a Souls-like is there's some degree of like progression or stats or like character creation or something like that. Like it's more about like a build or like a degree of expression. You are playing P in Lies of P, but he's a puppet. The whole point is like you're controlling him. He doesn't have things to say. He is the puppet.
He's the P puppet.
He's a little Italian boy. You have a build in that game. Like you're deliberately putting your stats into things, and like there's a degree of customization in it. And I think that's like an important aspect of these games, because like that's part of how you choose to mitigate the risk and how that affects your ability to interact with the world. Okay.
All right. Okay, so now finally, what is your alternative?
My alternative for the Souls-like genre is a heavy atmosphere game.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I think there's a little bit of wordplay there. It's atmosphere and heavy. Okay. But also, I think that really nails down the deliberateness, and the world building, and like I think those are kind of like some of the most important things that you need to have. It's like the name kind of brings a bit of connotation of like character action. I feel like describes like that one describes what you're doing like pretty succinctly. It's more about like one person, like their story, their progression of the game, and like the action is like a huge portion of that. Like heavy atmosphere, like it feels like it's putting a little bit more of a divide between something like that. I can't as easily say that maybe Nier Automata has some Souls-like elements to it, but maybe it does feel a little bit of heavy atmosphere, but it is much more along the lines of character action. I feel like that gives a split between some of the genres that Souls-like games are like, and helps like distinguish it a little bit better.
I kind of want to workshop this a bit, because I feel like heavy atmosphere doesn't quite describe it can describe anything. Maybe you want to find something that pertains more to like the challenge of those games and like what exactly they encompass, like the genre I would call Souls, like an alternative title I would pick would be like Trial and Error, or like maybe like a atmospheric Trial and Error, or Trial by Fire kind of
Trial
game.
by oh, that's a good one. I was gonna say Risky Vibes.
Risky Vibes?
No,
I
Risky
like
Vibes.
Trial and Error or Trial
by Fire, I think is God. Yeah, no, that's too evocative. All right, it's that. You got it. A Trial by Fire game.
I feel like that would be more fitting. I mean, it might imply atmosphere a little bit with like the.
I think it does. It's very evocative.
Okay. Sure. All right. Well, there you go.
Why are they going on that trial? What's with that fire?
Yeah, you will be forged into a new person by the time you're done.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Let's move on to your second pick.
My second pick is Shoot 'em Up.
Now, you're gonna have to sell me on this one because when I look at that game, you do be shooting them up.
Okay, number one, I hate. They probably call them SHMUPs now because you can't just say shoot them up. It implies things that are not nice here in the U.S.
That's true.
And then so like now we have the shorthand SHMUP, which is also a stupid sounding word, and I hate it. So I here's the thing about shoot 'em up. So we have shoot 'em ups and we have beat 'em ups.
Okay.
We call them SHMUPs, but we don't call them bum ups if we're talking about like
you don't.
Yeah. So like why are we doing this? And I think, well, at the core, that was my little rant version of the problem. But my actual problem with the shoot 'em up genre is that like it encompasses, again, like RPG earlier, I was saying it encompasses a little too much. Like I kind of, when people say shoot 'em up, I need a little more than that, because it could mean like a side scrolling or an auto scrolling arcade shooter, or it could mean a platform shooter, or it can mean
so you're saying it's too easy to be like Contra or R-Type, and those are two different of games for you.
Yeah. Like the examples I have are like Mushihime-sama, Death Smiles cave shooters, which are like very much arcade aesthetic, top down or like horizontal view. And then you have things like Contra and Gunstar Heroes. Yeah, like those are not the same game, even though like you do things that are similar in them. They are still fundamentally different.
Let's back that up a little bit then. So what to you is like the core of what makes a shoot 'em up or a shmup?
I mean, I guess it is the fact that your primary form of interaction is like a long distance attack or a long distance like mechanic that doesn't require you to be like up in the enemy, even though it can have those things like Sin and Punishment. You can have a melee attack, but still, I think the primary, like the game is centered around like the ability to shoot things from far away with like a weapon or a vehicle. That's another reason I don't like this terminology, because like what then would you, if you think of Mega Man or Mega Man X, what are those games to you? What genre is that game?
Well, that's clearly a beat 'em shoot 'em up. No, I guess you would probably more call that one a platformer, even though you're right. Like your main verb is a range-based attack.
Everyone says Mega Man is an action platformer. No, it's a platform shooter.
Okay.
But that is part of like the issue I have with the terminology. It's like it's just not helpful at all, and it just stuck around for so long. And it's probably going to stick around because no one's playing these games anymore. I do like the term "cute 'em up" though. That's funny.
It's a pretty good one.
And it describes some games pretty well, like Cotton and Parodius. But yeah, I think the alternative I would come up with, I kind of spoiled it earlier, but I would use like a qualifier to distinguish each game. Like, is it an arcade shooter, or is it a platform shooter, or is it a first-person shooter, or is it a boomer shooter, or is it like and we already do this. So like I don't really know why the genre shoot 'em up has stuck around so long when it's like kind of archaic, kind of like useless in my opinion. It doesn't really describe games as well as it should anymore.
I see.
So yeah, I don't really have a creative solution to this one. I think we should just distinguish what an arcade shooter is versus a platform shooter, like I said earlier.
Okay, so then let's work on that then. So what are like most people would distinguish like shmups as like an Ikaruga style game, like a game where you're a little ship where you're using some sort of usually ranged based attack, and like the primary action of the game is to dodge enemy attacks and to dish out your own ranged attacks. So that would like, that's kind of like generally what I think of when I think of like a traditional shmup. So then I guess how would you differentiate that from like a platform shooter? Because like, or like Mega Man is still like he's got a ranged attack and he's dodging and weaving. So like how do we like distinguish those two genres? What's like the core element of a shmup that you couldn't qualify with like a platform shooter?
You mean Mega Man versus like other shooters?
Like Mega Man versus Gradius. Like how do you define Gradius in a way that doesn't also cover Mega Man?
I would call Gradius an arcade shooter, or a sci-fi, or like a sci-fi shooter, or a space shooter, which is like a pretty. It's a very specific genre. But I guess like I see what you're saying, because then I think of things like Akai Katana or the Sengoku series, which are more like you are a little person that's just flying around. So like that, you're not a spaceship. So I would still consider that an arcade shooter. Have you ever played Heiankyo Alien on Game Boy?
I know of it. I've seen like videos on it.
Yeah, that's like a shooter, but you are just a bunch of dudes. And you have like a team of dudes, and they are
Joaniki's a shooter where you're a bunch of dudes.
Yeah, so like I guess what would you like, I mean, that would be a parody shooter, or I don't know. I still think the word shooter, it tells you exactly what it is. But I guess like because we already have so many different kinds of games where a gun is used or a projectile weapon is used, I guess like I kind of want to have my cake and eat it too here, because I want to keep the term shooter, but I want like a bit more of a subcategory to each of them to be.
Yeah, because I see what you're saying is like it's too broad, and you want to dismantle it and just say like, look, does the game involve real-time combat based around ranged attacks, primarily ranged attacks? Then it's a shooter, and then you slap on other qualifiers on it to make it into like what the actual genre is. So you're saying it's more of a like the shooter is more like a mechanic or a subgenre.
That's what I'm saying.
I guess then let me ask one last question for you.
Yeah.
Is there a meaningful distinction then between like a first person shooter and like a side scrolling arcade shooter? Like, does it even matter at that point to you? Is like, well, they both use ranged attacks, so like Doom and R-Type are like fundamentally a similar genre.
Oh no, I mean they shouldn't be, right? But like it's just that the term shooter is already half the work done for the consumer. That's the issue I'm having here. And I do like things like boomer shooters, because I know what they mean by that, even though that essentially is kind of the issue. Again, like we're kind of having a bit of a subjective term to describe something that should be objective, which is my whole problem with this. So I'm kind of stuck in this one, man. Like, I kind of just want to be able to, hey, if I'm talking about Gradius, I'm like, yeah, space shooter, sci-fi, arcade shooter, and people should know what I mean by that.
Okay. So how about
I
this?
just don't want to say shmup. I don't want to say shmup with my mouth. It's such a bad word. I hate it. Shmup. Oh, I got shmup all over me. Oh, fuck.
Oh, Boobala, you got a little shmup on you. Okay, so why don't we come up with a new name then, and maybe branch off from there? So
let's try.
I just tried this game. It is called Ikaruga. It's a okay. So what's your new genre name?
Dope ass game.
It's a dope game.
Fucking hard as shit. Hard as balls. I've seen people use the term cave shooters to describe like those kind of things, But it kind of is the Souls-like problem in that issue.
Mhm.
I think the term I would use for a game like that would be a dogfight.
That's good.
But then you have like, okay, well then I think that could be like Ace Combat.
Does that
series.
distinction matter?
I think
Can we
it
just
would,
say-
yeah, because, well, I guess you can say 3D dogfight.
Yeah, or like I would say Ace Combat is a 3D simulation dogfight game.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Yeah, and then Star Fox is a 3D arcade dogfight game.
Yeah.
I know you got it.
Yeah.
Like I think yeah, you can call Ace Combat and Ikaruga like the same game, and yeah, dog, because you be shooting them up in both those games.
And you're on I guess like for games where you're flying a craft, a dogfight kind of game. I thought, yeah, sure. 2D dogfighter. Would people? Well, no one would be like, "What, you fight with dogs?" No one would say that, right? Like, no one's that silly.
No, I mean, you've invited it, so yeah. Now,
okay, well, whatever. That's so. Until then, till further notice, we have that.
So that means that Nintendogs and Ace Combat are functionally the same game. Well, actually, both Ace Combat 5 and Nintendogs feature.
Wait, do Nintendogs fight? Do they fight? Are they?
You can take them in
fighting?
competitions.
Oh, but that's not fighting. That's just friendly rivalries and competitions, and they're dogs, so they shouldn't fight.
They have. Oh, listen, there's a fail state. All right.
Oh no,
it's combat in a sense. All right. Let's move on. To
more like dog shit. Okay.
Damn, what were they thinking? Let's move on to my second pick. I have chosen for my second game, probably should be pretty obvious based on what I've talked about so far, but Metroidvania, and to a lesser extent, Metroidbrainia.
I'm sorry, what's a Metroidbrainia?
Okay, like legitimately, have you not heard this one before?
No, never, honestly.
So Metroidbrainia has been coming in vogue recently to describe games that play like similarly paced to Metroidvanias, but the mechanics are all like something that is internal. Like it is a knowledge-based progression rather than an ability-based one. So, for example, The Witness, as you play and solve the puzzles, you can like learn how to backtrack and go to earlier areas of the game and open doors. It's functionally like getting a blue laser beam that opens up blue doors or whatever, but it's just now I learned how to solve all the puzzles that work like this. Outer Wilds is kind of the key player in this subgenre of a subgenre, where there's no abilities in that game that you get. Like whatever you start with, either the parts of your ship, your suit, your ship, your a little recon device, and your other stuff, like that's all you get. But it's how you learn to interact with the world that shows you like how to open up the earlier doors and like locked areas of the game. And then Animal Well is like a game where you do unlock abilities that do fundamentally change how you play, but it's more also how you learn how to interact with the world. So that's kind of like the distinction between Vania and Brainia, but it's still like it's really rough. It also like really easily gets into like, well, then is Myst a Metroidbrainia? Like then we start just talking about detective and puzzle games. Like Obra Dinn, is that a Metroidbrainia? Because you have to learn like what happened to the people, and as you like learn more of what happens in the like later like areas of the game, you might be able to go back to earlier ones and have a better idea on like how someone died based on like later knowledge. I mean, I kind of, yeah, but dog, that's just a detective game. Like it gets really hazy. To back up, I would say a Metroidvania is a platformer with a larger, more exploration-based world design where unlocked knowledge or abilities grants access to more parts of the game.
You're looking at a big map. How do I go from point A to point B?
I think that's the biggest thing, is that like the difference between a Mario game, a Zelda game, or whatever, and like a Metroid game, or even like let's say Metroid and like Kid Icarus, is that basically like one major interconnected world, or like a series of large interconnected worlds. Whereas like Kid Icarus sort of has that with the dungeons, but that's kind of it. And then once you beat the dungeon, you move on to the next one. There's no going back. I would say you could still have a Metroidvania if like there was a series of large interconnected worlds that you like beat one, you go on to the next one.
Kid Icarus is a lot more linear, though.
Yeah, it's way more linear.
Yeah, it's like super linear. It's just it's you're just going up.
Yeah,
up
it really, and all the
right.
dungeons are just the linear, like those same linear levels, but you're now given like a range to explore, and that's it. But like they fundamentally play exactly the same. It's just you pick a direction you want to go instead of just up or right.
I would say I wouldn't call Kid Icarus a Metroidvania or a Metroid.
I wouldn't either, and that's why I'm trying to like distinguish it.
So I guess in cases like this, the term Metroidvania really, would you agree that like it kind of became shorthand for a number of games that were coming out during the indie boom, like in the early 2000s, late 2000s, to just describe like the kind of game that has like a cave story game would be a Metroidvania, because it is like a large map that you frequently access areas to in order to like gain access to more areas. And backtracking is a big key to this too. Like every part of the map will serve more than one function. Is most of the time you're not just going through a room. It's just like a liminal space you'll frequent, you know. So I wonder if that is how it started, because I guess like so many games became inspired by those three that they just kind of standardize, and we needed like a shorthand for them.
Yeah, which actually, it's funny that you bring up Cave Story, because I'd say that it kind of is less of a Metroidvania than a lot of the others. Like,
I would consider it a Metroidvania. Yeah,
I would too, but it's more like level based.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do backtrack. You're right. Like you've got kind of a central area. You're kind of going out and back and forth. You only get a couple of items that actually like influence your ability to move differently, to like open up new areas. But I wouldn't call it just strictly like just a platformer game. It is in the sense that you're jumping, but like a level-based platformer, a linear platformer. Like it doesn't feel like Cave Story feels not like a Mario game, because I think there's a continuity. Maybe that's it. There's a continuity to the world, or a non-linear continuity. You know, there is a degree of exploration where ultimately, like the more constrained you are, the more I would say, or the less it's like a Metroidvania. You know, Super Mario Brothers, you just move right. Kid Icarus, like you do have some degree of freedom, but you know, ultimately it is far more linear. you go up, you flap those wings. And then like Zelda, I feel like is a little bit closer to that. Like there is a
hold up. Why isn't Zelda a Metroidvania?
That's a good question.
Like why?
I think if we're looking at like classic Metroidvanias, I would say that Zelda is less about its movement being like its key.
Okay.
Like you move like in the sense that like you pick directions to go in, you dodge enemy attacks, but like there's not like a more like verbs or actions that like you can't jump, you can't roll, you can't dash. Like there's no real like verbiage.
You gotta have the shine spark and your what's the other?
Yeah, but or just I would say like Zelda is a game about exploring. It is not a game about like the act of moving itself.
It's an adventure game. It's an adventure fantasy.
Yeah, but you're right. Okay. Like that does have some overlap.
But then I guess what I'm trying to get to is like the Metroidvania term caught on because we kind of needed like we noticed like a surge of these type of games. They became kind of a niche of the side-scrolling platformer, and then when Metroid Prime came out, like a 3D version of that. So we don't want to call these games platformers or like platformer adventure or platformer dungeon crawler, even though that kind of describes what it is.
Well, because like I think that the thing is, it's like it is. I do be jumping in that game. It is a jump 'em up.
A jump.
But like I'm not playing it for that though. I'm playing the game, or like the primary like feeling that the game is trying to give me is one about like exploration and like unlocking doors and a continuity between those two things.
So what then was the alternative at a time when like a spike in this specific genre was happening, and we needed like a term for it? We needed like to label it something so that we can all agree like this is what this is.
lately people have been trying to change Metroidvania, because I think we do agree that it is stupid to call it, like, name it specifically after 2 games, because that doesn't mean anything if you haven't played those 2 games. Have you heard like the proposed one for it?
What is the proposed one?
It is search action.
No.
So
toss it.
It's not sexy at all.
It's like, what am I supposed to do here?
Then it pretty much strictly can only be about like games that play more closely to a Metroid or a Castlevania. Whereas I feel like as we start to like branch out and really start to explore what it means to play these games, you know, well, that means if you're not like doing combat like these games, then it doesn't really apply as much. You know, I feel like especially lately, these games have taken a lot more from Super Metroid than they have from Symphony of the Night.
Castlevania,
yeah. And so like I feel like I don't know, like the search action I think limits it very specifically to like, well, then that we're only basically talking about the platformer action games with like a big world that you are meant to explore and go back and forth on. I think there is something to like these games that are like puzzle games with a bit more of a continuity. Like you are exploring them in the same way that you would move through a level, but you're more thinking your way through it. I think there is something there, like a core ethos, a core feeling that these games are trying to have.
Post Castlevania Symphony of the Night, what would you call a Castlevania game?
Yeah, you're right, because like that doesn't like Castlevania refers to a lot of different things, and like Castlevania 2 is kind of closer to a Metroidvania.
And now I'm curious, like for context, I actually want to know what was Metroid considered before the term Metroidvania.
That's a good point. Because Metroid is not a Metroidvania because it doesn't play like Castlevania.
There was no such thing before it. Yeah, and I'm gonna take a guess and say like they're probably gonna call it like an action game, action platformer or platformer shooter.
Well, and also before enough games had like that open continuity, it's like, well, that's not a meaningful enough distinction. It's just a platformer. Like a big world, open world platformer, I guess. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say like, would sandbox platformer describe something like Super Metroid? If we exist in a vacuum where the term Metroidvania doesn't exist.
I mean, yeah, I'm looking up, just seeing what people are like traditionally have called Metroid. It looks like it's more of specifically an action adventure game, a game where you're
that's what I thought.
A real-time combat-based game where you're solving puzzles with the same abilities as you do the combat. So,
okay. So with that said,
yeah,
what are your proposed titles for the Metroidvania genre?
I think I want to get more to like the act of playing the game and not the specifics on it if you're jumping or anything like that. I think I want to call them a lock and key game.
Okay. Yeah.
Because that ultimately I think that it expresses like it's got some puzzle elements like there, but it's more about like opening more of a space.
Now, I like where that's going. I wouldn't sit on it because like,
well, of course it's not shared. It doesn't have any legs. It's
you can don't make me do another Battle Arena Toshinden joke. The problem is like we run again into the issue where like Zelda is kind of a lock and key game.
Yeah,
literally locks and keys everywhere in that game. So again, this kind of became the reason Metroidvania is even a thing now, because it's like, well, what 2 games did this the best? Let's just use that forever. Now, map progression got like another little crumb there of like where we should go. Map progression, locked progression, sandbox. No, because we're trying to come up with new things here.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that I do like lock and key. It's just that we still run into the same issue.
Well, I mean, and maybe that's more a fault on like, maybe that is kind of more the core appeal of Zelda, like is exploring a world with a continuity to it.
Yeah, like dungeons. I guess like Metroid is just a big Zelda dungeon. You know what I mean? Like,
because people use like Metroidvania to describe Tunic. I wouldn't say it's like,
wow, really?
I would say like it applies many of the aspects of a Metroidvania. You know, that's a subgenre of it, or like that applies to many aspects of it. There is some overlap with the Venn diagram. I wouldn't call it like a traditional or like a 100% pure Metroidvania, but it's got a lot of Metroidvania aspects to it.
Okay.
So
go on.
what I'm getting at is like, yeah, but that game is like designed to be like a traditional Zelda game. So maybe there is a lot more overlap than we think when it comes to this.
What about map checklist game?
Map checklist?
I'm throwing that one out there. Did it stick? I don't know.
I got it.
Okay.
A map quest game.
Huh. Nothing has ever been called that before.
Mm-hmm.
So me.
Does anyone use MapQuest anymore? Does that site
I don't know. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah, you can still use MapQuest.
Pretty good. Because, like, no one calls a Zelda-like. You know, that's funny. No one really calls anything a Zelda-like, even though
a lot of games are specifically like Zelda. Yeah.
Freaking Darksiders 2 was a Zelda-like.
Yeah.
Freaking that one Harry Potter game in the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember it had like it even had the N64 Zelda UI, like with the, oh my god. Fucking Star Fox Adventures was a Zelda-like.
Yeah?
Yeah, probably the best Zelda-like before Wind Waker came out. That's my hot take. Sorry if you disagree. I am not.
Okay, so I think what we need to distinguish then is that we need Zelda-likes, quote unquote. Those are MapQuest games, and Metroidvanias are now lock and key games.
All right. Until further notice, we're calling it lock and key games.
Yeah, the listener, suggest something better than MapQuest. You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a genre I picked here that could help us out in this respect, but I'll get to that when we do.
Yeah, let's wait. We need to refresh ourselves, Jorge.
Crossing
with the segment
bridge games.
What?
Crossing bridge games.
Crossing
Sorry, go
bridge
on.
games. A strand bridge game.
Sorry,
Anyways.
I know we were going to the game ratings.
Yes, I am going to take a break with the segment I call game ratings. I'll present a category like fighting game finishing moves, play it loud Game Boy colors, games you'd rent at a Blockbuster, and we're going to come up with something underrated, overrated, and accurately rated. Today's topic is hybrid genre games. So yes, games that combine multiple genres.
Yeah, we should have one for like characters that can sit on you.
Video game characters I'd let sit on me.
Yeah, there you go.
What's an overrated character you'd still let sit on you?
Chun-Li.
Yeah.
Overrated as fuck, but yeah, I'm not gonna object. Okay, anyway. Hybrid genres, baby. Let's go.
Genre.
This is it's like hybrid cars, except they save no energy.
Yeah. You know, I almost put Hybrid Heaven on here because that is a hybrid genre.
That is literally a hybrid genre game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stealth game. And anyways, okay. Let's just roll. What's your underrated hybrid genre game?
Competitive puzzle.
What is this?
It's like Puyo Puyo. It's like people,
I swear to God, every single game that involves funny little guys pushing blocks around, you know the name of, because it's always like Scrumpy and Dumpy, and I have to be like,
no, there's literally a Bumpy and Dumpy. There's literally a game called
me.
Bumpy and Dumpy. That's a push block game. Yeah, it's a push block puzzle game.
Okay, so what's the name of this game again, Jorge?
Competitive puzzle is like competitive puzzler or competitive puzzle games. Yeah, it's called competitive puzzle games. Are basically the Puyo Puyo when Puyo Puyo tried to be esports. I think that's like when they started using this term. I think we should use it more. There have been many competitive puzzle games, and I don't know why we don't use that term more. Puzzle Fighter, you mentioned earlier, Puzzle Fighter is a competitive puzzle game. Twinkle Star Sprites is a competitive puzzle game, although it has some shoot 'em up elements to it. Oh my god, I said shoot 'em up, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle, I failed.
I'm sorry.
I failed
a
everyone.
dogfight game. Also, sorry, Jorge. I was
dogfight game.
I was mistaken. I thought we were supposed to pick specifically just games that had more than one genre.
No, I will tell you then what my underrated puzzle game is. There's a game called Henry Hatsworth. Please write this down. Henry Hatsworth in the Puzzling Adventure. You want to talk about one of the best hybrid puzzle games out there? It is this.
Oh yeah, because it's like a platformer, right?
The way it works is it is an action platformer, but you can pause while you're playing, while you're moving your little tea sipping dude around, who is like painfully British. There's a block puzzle in the bottom. It's a perfect DS game too. There's a puzzle. There's a block drop. Oh, crap.
Block drop crap. I like that genre name.
There is a drop puzzle game going on in the bottom screen, and so like you can keep playing the game, but that screen is filling up with shit. So like when it gets too crazy, you stop playing the game on the top and you play the game on the bottom. And when you match, I don't know if it's a match 4 or if you clear a line like in Tetris, because I haven't played this in years now. But every time you do, your little guy gains like a boost in power. And so like every time you do that, or you are filling a meter that'll allow you to use like the super like robot form that he can transform into in the middle of a fight.
Oh, I see. So as you're playing the game, it's like it's putting stuff you're doing onto the blocks.
Yeah.
And make it like it's changing the value of the blocks based on what you do in the game.
Yeah. So I honestly I still think about this game a lot because of like I haven't really seen any other game do this, where like they combine just a regular action game, action platformer with a regular puzzle game.
Yeah,
I like
actually
it becomes kind of remarkable because of that.
Like if it didn't do that, then both of the games would be kind of like
they would be boring.
Underwhelming.
Yeah. But
together
they take
it's
that
like
stick and work it. Yeah. It becomes like a memorable. I beat the whole game. Yeah, I was a fan of it.
Huh. Yeah, this looks pretty fun. And you're right, like just it being 2 genres like elevates it quite a bit.
Yeah, I apologize. I thought we were talking about like hybrid genres, but I can 100% do this.
Yeah, I just so yeah, we'll just specify we're talking about games that have multiple genres.
I was so distracted by being sit on.
My underrated game is Laika: Age Through Blood. It mostly plays like your traditional Metroidvania in the sense that you've got an open, interconnected world, but you're doing so on a motorcycle, and the motorcycle controls more like a Trials game. So you're going up ramps, you're having to like balance the physics of your vehicle. It's if you land on your head, like you'll get sent back to a checkpoint. So like the movement is restrictive enough, it is specific enough that I would say that like it is not just a Metroidvania, even though I'd say Metroidvanias are like or at least traditional ones are about the movement. Like the fact that you have a vehicle that has a very like distinct physics to it, I think it gives it another genre.
Okay.
I don't know necessarily what you would call that, like a Trials game, but like I think that is it's a distinct enough game to where like you like people do pitch it by explaining that like the driving is so unique that like it's kind of a secondary like game on top of it, on top of the Metroidvania.
Yeah, I'm like honestly I can't even really picture. Oh, it does look like a Trials game.
Yeah,
like the Trials HD, like the Xbox.
Yeah. Game. Like I don't know what you would call that, just like an arcade like driving sim.
Dude, I'll be honest, we could make a whole episode on hybrid games because like there's so many I want to talk about. Actually,
that's fine. Let's write that down.
Yeah, because man, there's so many underrated ones too, and there are not some that are not.
Yeah.
So good.
Okay. Yeah. I'll put a mental note. The best games I can't figure out the genre for.
All right.
Anyways, yeah, no, I don't have too much to say on that. It's underrated because it didn't do super well. But like, if you look at footage of the game, like the world is really cool. Like it's this whole Mad Max thing where you're like foxes and the bad guys are all like these crows. You know, it really leans into like you really have to like learn how to drive the vehicle, but like you get like shotguns and stuff and like guns and like different abilities you can use while you're like flipping around and stuff. You're playing a mom. That's gotta like save her kid, and you know that's cool. We gotta have more video game moms. We have a soft spot for moms on this podcast.
Well, I like daddies too. It's okay.
That's fair. But yeah, the game it did okay. It got more coverage than your average small indie game project, but I don't think it did really well, and I think it is unique enough where it should get more love. So yeah, that's my underrated hybrid genre game. What's your next one, Jorge?
Are we doing overrated next or
Sure. Yeah, let's do overrated next.
This one's kind of easy, and I feel bad for poo-pooing it so much because I don't think it's a bad game. But you probably guessed this, Kyle. It is Dave the Diver.
That game does have a lot of genres.
And it's I say this with like just bearing in mind to everyone listening that I think what was there was good. It's just that it really wanted to be a feast of a game, and I just didn't need to be.
Yeah, it really only needed 2 genres, and it had like 8 of them in there.
It did 2 of them really well, and then it's like, but what if we had like half a dozen more? And I'm like, no, I didn't. No one asked for this.
The farming simulation part of that is so pointless.
And like, why would you do one of the most like farming games? I feel like should have their own. Actually, hold up. I kind of disagree because one of my accurate, really rated picks is a half a farming sim. So let me backtrack that a little bit. I do feel like even if it was a good farming sim, the problem is that I didn't ask for it. This was already a really good like meal and side dish, and now it's like too much food, and it's like I didn't ask for any of this, and I'm full now, and now none of it tastes good because I'm just like stuffing myself with content. And this is coming more from a place of like, I think this game was good when it was doing less than when it does more.
Yeah, because also think about like there are mini games to that game, and there are some ones I like. I really like when you do like the little like VTuber like rhythm game thing for your like little like your anime weapon stealer dude. I like that character, and I think that's really funny. And that game's the mini game there is pretty short. I think that's the problem, is like the second you have to like go to like zone 2 of the like stealth based undersea dungeon where you're like, what am I doing? Like the puzzles in this take so long to do that like I just feel like, yeah, you're right. It should have just been less. Like the boss fights should have been shorter. The dungeon should have been smaller. Like all these like secondary features should have just been like occasional mini games.
Or at least like save it for the sequel. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
just keep making Dave the Diver games, and all of them have like 2 or 3 genres total.
Yeah,
and then focus on making those really good and really synergetic, instead of just like, I mean, I guess part of the game's humor is that it keeps becoming more and more game. So maybe there's a meta context thing to that.
Yeah, it desperately wants to be a Yakuza game, but I don't think it can deliver on that, because those games constantly are giving you different like side games and features, but like I think those just feel more fleshed out, or they're kind of more optional. Like
they're optional. It's both they're fleshed out, they're optional, and they synergize with each other. So like, playing a mini game is not a complete waste of time. You will benefit from it somehow.
Yeah, you usually only have to do like, if you have to do a mini game in a Yakuza game, it's usually just like the first level of it. But you know, imagine a Yakuza game where Kiryu like has to do like 3 rounds of the like RC car racing thing, and every time you get to a new round, he talks really slowly at you.
Well, I feel like it's more like because there are times when Yakuza forces you to play mini games. Like you cannot escape the
cab driving in like 5 or whatever.
But it's more like, imagine if like not even a third into Yakuza, like 20% in the Yakuza, it becomes a different game. And then the last game that came before it is now secondary. And then after you got used to that one, they introduce another one where you're just going to have to play this now. Forget the last 2 you remember, the last 3 actually. And then it just keeps doing that until the end, where it's like, it's just different till the end. Now you got to figure out the final boss as its own mini game that you don't know how to play because you've tried to learn 6 other games before that.
Yeah, you're right. Like the Yakuza games, and they never forget the fact that they're ultimately beat 'em up games.
Yeah, the final boss in that game. I'm sorry.
Bum up games.
Bum up. The final boss. You take what you learned from the first bum up encounter you had in the early beginning of the game. So like, it's consistent throughout. That's all we're asking for. Sorry, I don't want to throw so much shade at Dave the Diver because I don't think it's a bad game at all.
But you're right. Like it's fighting its own. Like it's fighting the good parts of the game.
It's a game that it's odds with itself, and it's frustrating.
I think that's a fair overrated. It's okay because my overrated is like me just coming out swinging. I'm gonna say Symphony of the Night is a little overrated, and let me explain.
Yeah, explain how it's a hybrid genre too.
So when Symphony of the Night first came out, think about it, like it was like a platformer at like this like action RPG like platformer. Like it was combining like Castlevania with like this stat-based progression with like this open world design. Like it was sort of like gluing together like 4 or 5 different types of games.
I can think of like the hidden button command mechanics as like a hidden fighting game within the Castlevania game itself. But I'm trying to think of like other examples too.
I'm just saying like the RPG on top of the like
the RPG elements, like the leveling up and shit.
Leveling up and weapons and stats and things like that on top of the adventure game, I think was a different enough thing to where that, you know, when it released before we had like Metroidvanias, like it was kind of a hybrid genre game.
Okay, I see. Sure. And I feel like it does some of it. Like the micromanaging of having different equipment did get a little like annoying after a while, I guess.
Yeah. Well, let me explain why I say it's overrated. Because I got to list plenty of things if I'm willing to just piss off miscellaneous people hearing my voice right now. But I guess when I was thinking about like Metroidvania games a little bit ago and doing like my research, I think all of the Metroidvania games, especially like the modern indies and things like that, I think they all kind of pull way more from Metroid. I think Symphony of the Night does not do a lot of the legwork when it comes to this.
Okay.
I think the genre really is just Metroid-likes. Now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of games that are throwing in like stat-based progression or RPG elements and things like that that are more combat focused. But, you know, especially around like that indie boom like we were talking about, but I think it's overrated in the sense that like I don't think it's doing the bulk of the legwork for the genre that it helps create.
For sharing a name with another game, it does the least amount of lifting is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like I would say all of the games that like you would compare to for a Metroidvania, I think generally they tend to be a bit more on the Metroid side of things.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, and like I want to be clear, there are interviews you can look up where they explicitly say they were not inspired by Super Metroid when they were making Symphony of the Night. I also don't know if I believe that.
Okay.
I think that they probably were inspired by that game and were like taking elements from it. And like to be fair, also like Castlevania 2 does play like a Metroidvania style game. Like they're iterating off of that too. But yeah, I don't think the Symphony of the Night exists without Super Metroid. I don't think most of these games pull from as much off of Symphony of the Night as they do Super Metroid. So I just feel like it's overrated in that regard.
Okay.
That's all. Let's get you accurately rated though.
Can you go first? I haven't thought of one yet.
Sure. My accurately rated hybrid genre game is 13 Sentinels.
Oh, you know, I almost said that. I almost picked that one. I'm glad I did.
13 Sentinels is a combination visual novel and real-time strategy game. It is a hybrid genre game in the sense that you play one game and then you play another game.
There's 2 games in one.
Yeah. I would say it's no UFO 50, it's UFO 2. I would say that the real-time strategy game element of it tends to get more derided or more passed over. But I do think it adds something to it. I don't think it would be the same game without just purely the visual novel. I think it adds to the stakes of it. But I would say it's accurately rated now. I think it has people that are like its champions. It has its greatest fans. Like folks are out there and it is their favorite game of all time. I think it's very niche. I don't know if it's an easy game to recommend to a lot of folks. And I think that's fair that it's like, it's just a game that just doesn't have as big of an appeal. But I certainly think that now, especially after it's got its Switch port, after it's been out for a little while, after it's had people like your Lena Raines and your Wario 64s that just like talk about that game every chance they get. You know, I think it's got its fan base. So I think because of that, it is accurately rated now. I think I think if that's the kind of game that will appeal to you, it is your favorite game, but it's just not for everyone.
I mean, it was one of the biggest praised Atlas games, which is cool.
Yeah.
I really like that. But I will say, like, the reason I ended up not picking 13 Sentinels as my accurately rated is because, like, yes, it is a pretty robust hybrid game, but I was a little disappointed in number one. The fact that the strategy game difficulty is just kind of really easy. Once you figure it's like extremely easy to exploit the mechanics in that game, and I found myself kind of wanting like a little more challenge by the end of it. There's a survival mode. Once you beat the game, you can play like an endless survival mode for the strategy RPG, and I was very excited because I'm like, oh, okay, this is where like it gets for real, and then you can really try out some crazy strats. Nope, it caps at about the very hard difficulty, which is actually really easy in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I wish it did more is that I wish that the things you did in one game influence the things that happen in the other a lot
Yeah,
more.
you should be able to get like new attacks or something. You should be able to like find like
least,
maybe like doing the
least,
RPG.
Like, yeah, sorry. At least having like some kind of like relationship links or like some kind of reward for like having each character talk to each other more or something like that.
Yeah, and maybe like it gives you a couple of like just a few dialogue things, and then just a little thing that pops up that's like link conversation or something that you only get if you like went back and forth, and then like when you like have the new revelation of the new character, maybe like that gives you a new ability to use in the thing, and it's kind of encourages you to like go back and forth on one, or maybe like doing a big dramatic like story beat between two characters gives you like temporarily a new combo attack for them, and so you need to like go over to the mission to use that if you want to like get the most out of it. But yeah, you're right, it was a very difficult RTS to balance, and I think they're just like, we would rather just lean easy and have people be able to beat this because people are playing this for the narrative. So
yeah, I think development prioritized the VN side of it more.
Yeah, because it's a narrative game
side
first.
of it more. Yeah, narrative. Which is fine. Yeah, that's where the meat is, and I really like that. I wish it gave me just a little like a hard mode challenge. Like I wish it gave me like missions where I like against impossible odds in the strategy side of it. Doesn't have to have anything to do with the game. I just wish it did that more.
Yeah, it sucks too because I don't know if any game can attempt to do that, because like if you want to do like the spiritual successor to 13 Sentinels, like that's cool. You can probably have a substantially better RTS game, but that narrative is like legitimately one of the best narratives in a video game, like of all time.
It did such a good job of
time shenanigans.
Time shenanigans and like giving you like a healthy conspiracy to like engage with in a way where you can like ask yourself what's going on and you don't know, but then it encourages you to like try to get ahead of the story. It's not actively disencouraging you like, oh, you're too stupid to figure it out. It wants you to like to let your brain go crazy. Even if you're wrong, it's fun to figure out what the story is about. So man, I really hope more people play it despite what I feel about the strategy part of the game. It's a good game.
Do you have your accurately rated game now?
Man, I'm cheating a little bit. It's UFO 50. Because it's like it's the ultimate hybrid game. Like there's so many things in it. Well, but also, even within
I was gonna say, even if you're looking at individual games, a lot of them are combinations of two games.
Some of them are highly experimental, like Rail Heist, the one that's like a stealth but also turn-based platform strategy game. And it's somehow like it's a game that could have just been a stealth shooter, but instead it plays around with the idea of like, well, what if actually you did take turns and you can move around in a 2D plane, but only for a set amount of time, and then it's the enemy's turn, and depending on where you are, they could either find you and kill you, or you can like hide and wait it out and then have another turn where you can just like do whatever it is you need to do. And there's so many other games like that. Like Warp Tank is a puzzle shoot 'em up, but like in a way where the game has like the mechanics of a platform shooter, but then instead of just letting you run around and jump, you have like a very limited amount of movement, or a limited options to move around in a way that like makes the game into a puzzle game.
Yeah, it's the limits on the verbs of movement are so restrictive that it does become a different game.
Yeah, and at first you're like, ew, this is weird. But then the more you play it, the more you're like, no, this is actually one of the best games in the collection.
Yeah,
because
it feels methodical.
It's like every stage is it feels like every stage is stage 1, stage 2, but it's actually like a whole puzzle in and of itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because it's setting up like different things to consider, or different mechanics that are like wildly different from each level.
And you were joking about. No, go on.
Oh, I like that pin golf is a combination pinball and golf game.
You joked about golf genre earlier. Golfaria is an RPG where you are a golf ball. Yeah,
a golf adventure game.
It's a golf adventure game with like characters you can talk to. Like they're so experimental with some of these games that I wish they would take some of those concepts and make a whole game out of them. Like Mini and Max, I think, is the best example of like a game that could have been its own thing and it would have been perfect. And it's also kind of a hybrid puzzle platformer game, just in how like you can like every area allows you to like get bigger or smaller, and it'll change depending on where you are. And it kind of makes you think. It's not just like about. I'm sorry for using the term Metroidvania, but that's like another Metroidvania.
Yeah, no, I mean it is
Metroidvania puzzler platformer. It's like this has everything. I'm sorry, I'm glazing UFO 50 again.
It's fine. I mean, but like it's like your favorite game, like of recent years. It kind of was
my favorite, and I keep thinking about it. And my God,
I think, and it's got its fans, but like I still think it's it's never gonna reach the like. Just exploded in the mainstream. Like it had its moment in the sun, and people will sing its praises, and I think people will still be going back to it. But it's
I hope so.
It's just adequately rated. Like it's very good, and people will come back to it. But that's kind of just sitting there. Like enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm telling you, we could make a whole episode on hybrid genre games.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hash some ideas out. Cause
all right.
Well, why don't we get back to the episode?
Brain Lords, video games of the mind.
The challenge is Metroid. The power is Nintendo. Defend the planet Xephus against the evil Mother Brain. It's survival or destruction. Do battle or die. Metroid only from Nintendo.
You left him for dead in Konami's Castlevania. How foolish to presume he'd perish without leaving a curse. For now, in Simon's quest for Nintendo, fate stalks your very being, and you need more than clues from cowardly villagers to survive when day turns into night. But just keep telling yourself it's only a video game. It's only a... Huh?
本格シューティングゲームがゲームキューブに完全移植。怒るが属性を切り替え敵を欺け。フォーミングレーザーでピンチを切り抜けろ。超本格シューティング怒るが。
Brain Lords, video games of the mind.
Is it my turn again?
I think it's your turn again.
Okay. Sorry, I'm putting my hand out. I confused you with that. Sorry.
You did.
Oh no, I'm sorry, Kyle. Do you want to try that again?
No, you're good. You're good. What's your third?
Oh, well, then
third
fuck
pick?
You, bro. My third pick is, oh boy. Speaking of pissing people off, cozy games.
Yeah.
What do we got to say about this that people haven't already said?
What is a cozy game to you?
I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know what a cozy game is. If I'm to judge just aesthetically, it's games that are like... Here's the thing I find a little condescending about the term cozy as a game genre. Mm-hmm. They just don't want to say games for girls because they know how bad that sounds. Yes, I agree. But like I don't think cozy games like helps either because it just kind of is putting a label on a certain genre of game that people are just gonna shit on for having that label. And I feel like you can do better than this, especially by the you can do right by the people who play this. And the thing is that, like, I don't think people necessarily have a problem with the genre name in and of itself. In fact, I think it does, to some people, serve a very pointed purpose. Like, oh, this is the kind of game where I don't have to be upset at how difficult it is. It is just a game where I can, like, relax for 2 hours, do just like the task that I'm told to do, or just have fun with it and play it out so that I can have like a little break in my busy life.
Yeah.
I am saying all this with full praise. I don't think the problem is the kind of games that use this title. It's the fact that this has become like a kind of a bullshit marketing term to encompass just like anything that has cotton pink colors in it. And my God, is it so annoying to see, like, just...
I'll tell you the game that broke it for me. That was like, all right, fuck off. Like, this is just marketing buzz.
Yeah.
Was a game called Nothing to Declare, which fundamentally plays like a Papers, Please style game, but functionally, like, the pitch for it is it's cozy TSA, where you're like talking to people and you're unpacking their suitcases and you gotta like take their stuff out and look for contraband, but the colors are all bright and your character's like a bishy looking guy and all the like, you know, it's just, it's like, no, like, it's not cozy to like 9/11 happened in this like in this world.
Yeah, this is why we have TSA, right? Like, yeah. I think that's the problem I have too, is like eventually we're gonna hit a point where like people are just gonna throw out the word cozy for like a very inappropriate game for that to happen.
Well, and the thing that annoys me the most is people are like, well, my cozy game is like Dark Souls or Silent Hill 2. I'm like, no, you're saying that's a comfort game for you. Like, that's not the same thing.
But that's the problem. Like, it kind of is the same thing, because people, like, cozy's kind of a subjective term, or started as a subjective term for like to describe like games that make us feel good about like how shitty everything is for just a couple of minutes or even an hour. Like, and that to a lot of people means a lot of things. It's not necessarily has anything to do with the aesthetic. It doesn't have anything to do with like the type of game that it is. Cause like, yeah, for me, a cozy game for me might be Ninja Gaiden, and I don't, that's not really a cozy game for anyone else. But I sure feel cozy as fuck when I'm playing it. Like it's weird because like, I think it has become co-opted by corporations that we need. Just like every meme that gets co-opted by corporations, we need to drop it now. It's done. It's over. It's dead. Mm-hmm. We gotta come up with something new.
I will push back on you a little bit though, because like,
sure,
I think there is a genre in there, like blanketly cozy. Yeah, it doesn't fucking mean anything. But like, there are a subset of games, your Stardew Valleys and things like that, not strictly just farming sim type of games. I think that genuinely, like, cozy can refer to a style of game, to me, is a simulation-based game that is not strictly realistic. It is much lower stakes. There's far more expression in how you achieve your goals. It is not necessarily about like quantifiable upgrades, but more about like progress on like your own terms. So like it's a game where you're taking care of a lot of stuff. You're farming, you're crafting, you're like building something, but it's not strictly about like the management aspect of that. The stakes are really low. It's just more like telling your story on how like you want to do it in a way that's just not about the risk, the friction, the pain points. It's more about just your pace. So I think there are games there.
I guess that the problem, you're describing an Animal Crossing game, and like, yeah. I think this is one of those weird moments where like, instead of calling it an Animal Crossing like, we actually came up with a term that could describe a game like that.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it has become a term that kind of is synonymous with like a condescension attached to it. Like,
oh, absolutely.
Oh, this is a game for babies. You're not going to get hurt in this game. And this is not coming from like people who are kind of derogatory and deriding the genre, because there is that. Yes, I will acknowledge that like some people do use this to make fun of other people. But here the issue is that, yes, so are corporations. Like these are kind of being, this kind of does become a buzzword for a branding that companies can use to be like, oh, you like this because you're a big baby. And I don't know, that's just the way I feel when I see this, is like just a tiny bit disrespectful towards the consumer. And like, I get that branding has a purpose, like the labeling has a purpose, but it also just kind of puts a big target on your head, and I just don't like that about it. And so I feel like if I were to come up with like a better title for a game like this, I mean, even the word comfort game is fine, but like a Animal Crossing like is really what everyone fucking means when they say cozy game. So why don't we just call it that? Like, I don't know.
I got a pitch for you.
Sure.
Like for this specific, for the Animal Crossing, like looking up like cozy games just on like Wikipedia, the current description
it has a Wikipedia article.
It does. Oh yeah, it's saying it evolved more from like life simulation games.
Yeah. So like
your Harvest Moon, Sims, Boku no Natsu Yasumi, but then has now evolved to more things like Short Hike. My suggestion for the new genre name is a nurturing game.
Yeah. That has a more powerful connotation to it. Yeah, it's giving the player like power over something because you're nurturing a thing. You're giving back something. You're giving. I like that actually. Nurturing games or even like caregiving games too. Like,
caregiving games, nurturing. Because like a Short Hike. Yeah, you're not like building something in that game, but it is about like kind of how you're like taking care of the world. Doing these little quests and like expressing yourself, and like you're climbing, but the stakes are lower. But it's not like a game for babies. Like it's talking about some like pretty deep things. Like the story is a little darker at times.
No, I'm glad I got to talk about this a little bit, because at my core of the issue I have with cozy genre is just how it's a label used to describe something that is rather. It's like trying to capitalize off of like your comfort, it's trying to exploit you. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of, man, I wish I could elaborate better. For the first time in a while, I feel like I can't really elaborate how I feel. But the problem I feel, I know how I feel when I see it. I feel like when the buzzword is used to market a game, it feels condescending. It feels like it's kind of looking down on you. It's like, I don't know. So like nurturing, using the term nurture I feel like has more weight to it, because it's like, no, you're taking care of something, and sometimes that something is yourself, which I think is like the positive ethos of a cozy game, is that it's a moment of self-care for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that can be a good thing.
Yeah, lower stakes, self-expression, building.
Yeah. So I fully understand the purpose of the cozy game title and genre and why people started using this term. I have no problem against that. I have a problem with how it's been co-opted now.
Oh, absolutely.
To target a specific demographic that the industry looks down upon.
Mm-hmm. No, so, I agree, and it's become something that just does not mean anything anymore. But like, let's take it back, because I do think there is like a subgenre of the life sim game that is about like taking care of stuff, and I think there's way more to explore there.
I like the term nurturing. I might actually use that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we got it then. Let's go. You mind if I move on to my third pick?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
My third pick is Friendslop.
Okay, this is a good one.
So I found this out, like the term came from like a specific like post on like Twitter or Blue Sky. Like you can trace it back to one person.
Yeah. Oh, really?
And yes, it is from someone whose name is Bloody Mary, who says IDK, and this is a joke post. I cannot stress that enough.
You cannot stress that enough. Yeah.
They say, IDK, how else to describe it? But I call this genre of game, and they post Lethal Company and content warning repo. I call this genre of game Friendslop. Its sole purpose of existence is friends farming.
Friends farming.
Yeah, I guess like the kind of game that you guilt your friends into playing a little like a funny little thing with you for. Again, it's a joke, but now people are using it legitimately, and
They are.
I fucking hate the term Friendslop. I think it is genuinely one of the rudest ways to describe a game like imaginable, because we're in an era where slop is primarily being used to describe like low effort grifting things that are like
it should
harmful
be a negative thing.
and like disruptive and like are taking advantage of people, are like soulless. And to see like a $7 game made by one person be like slop is so fucking insulting. I hate it so much.
I had no idea that's the origin of the term, though,
was a
because I
joke.
always thought it kind of originated from like, because these games tend to attract streamers a lot, and I thought that was kind of the origin of it, where it's like, oh, someone played it, and yeah, you're forcing your friends to play it. Or it is that thing like, this came out, and it's that thing you play in the weekend with your friends online.
Yeah,
like
and certainly the way these games can be
done.
pitched is you have your one excited friend that just got like hooked by the streamer bait, you know?
Yeah, that's where I thought it was coming from.
I do think a quality of all of these games that they have like these, like, you know how like Dwarf Fortress is like a story generating game?
Yeah.
I think like all of like quote unquote Friendslop games, I think I think those, like, their ethos is not a story generation, it's a scene generation. So there is an aspect of that like you need to like this more small bursts of interesting moments. It needs to be set up to build up to that, to have these crazy things that can happen. But I'm going to describe like what a Friendslop game is to me.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote down a Friendslop game is an often unrealistic simulation game in which a small number of players must work together to complete a task with a high chance of failure and quick replayability.
Yeah.
So you're working together to do a little task. The games that really started like creating a need for this genre are sort of games post Among Us and Phasmophobia, Lethal Company, Content Warning, Repo, and then Peak, as well as a lot of the smaller games that were iterating and just didn't catch on as much, were like the primary games that are like the pillars of this genre.
Okay.
But then like a lot of other games get called Friendslop. Some of it's like the cozy game problem where it's like, oh, Jackbox or Quiplash is Friendslop. It's like, no, it's fucking not. It's a parlor game. Like, shut up.
Oh, I see. Would Among Us be Friendslop derogatory?
I think it's got, it's got elements of that. It's a werewolf game ultimately. Hidden
so it's more of a
objective
werewolf
game. But I think it has elements of Friendslop. God, every time I say Friendslop, it just makes me more and more upset.
Oh boy.
It's just so demeaning. And like the thing that bugs me the most is like every day this week it feels like a new studio is like laying off 80% or more of its staff on these major AAA games that like play exactly like everything else. They're like the most boring greenlit things of like, ooh, a hero shooter in 2026. Amazing. Incredible. Wow. We killed Titanfall 2 for this.
Say it, preach, brother.
And then like it turns out when they spend all this money on like 10 years on a fighting game and they can't even like get more characters than Skullgirls opened up with, then they lay off 80% of the staff. And so
did they?
No, Riot laid off 80% of the staff of the studio they got to
is that why everyone's mad about it? Because I saw people talk about it. I kind of ignored it because I just don't care anymore, but damn.
What I'm getting at is that like all these games are just the most like generic, just like the cheapest cookie you can possibly buy at the grocery store that's got like an absurd amount of sugar and salt, and like all the chocolate chips on it have that like white dust on it. Meanwhile, like your friend made you some cookies and like now they're not a professional baker, but they're like pretty good, and you're like, ha, slop.
Oh, I see. So there's it's a genre that has some moments of genuine connection with other people, and you find that using the term slop to describe that is more of a harm.
It's so evil to me.
Okay.
Especially when like these are the only things that seem sustainable right now is like these smaller games. And like, yeah, why wouldn't you want, like if a game is going to be a flavor of the week, why shouldn't it cost then like less than $15 and be like
guess,
just something that, you know, isn't a live service game. It's just shorter and gets maybe some updates every once in a while.
I think that's why I'm sorry. I am gonna like devil's advocate a little bit here, but
Sure, go for it.
I think that's why the term slop came up with this, because you do see these pop up every other week, and it is intentionally trying to capitalize on a trend of like, well, most people want to play social experiences, and you know, the market is correct in that. Like they see things like repo, or like, what was the big one? You mentioned it earlier,
Lethal Company.
Yeah, they see Lethal Company, and it's like, oh shit, there's gold here. And so yeah, there's gonna be the slop version of those games that are just kind of there.
Certainly,
like,
there are
like the Roblox clones, and like the Phantasmagoria. What was that one called?
Phasmophobia.
Phasmophobia. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. That one. Like, wow, I had a dad moment there. That's like the template of like, oh, we can just like chip chop chips, make actual like Friendslop, and people will play it because it's a thing you can do that weekend with your friends, and it doesn't matter if it has a longevity. We just want that quick buck for that weekend where everyone's going to get it.
Certainly there are a lot of games that like, yeah, they're derivative games that like are hopping on streamer bait and trying to be like the next big thing. But I think the fact that like we can really only name the good ones of this genre, like Lethal Company is a good game. Content Warning is maybe like less original, but it's a perfectly fine game. Like Repo is great. Among Us is like,
oh, you like Repo?
Yeah. Oh no, I played Repo. It's really.
I've been curious about it. I've never.
Yeah, yeah. Right. There's the new one coming out that's a Yap Yap, where you're like wizards and you're all working together to like deface a wizard's tower, like vandalize it together,
okay.
Which looks pretty fun because it's all just setting up for antics for like, you know, magical explosions and chain reactions and things like that.
Okay.
So like the genre is like still rapidly evolving. I think the biggest thing to happen to it honestly was Peak, because Peak has a level of polish that's kind of absurd. Like the level of consideration in that game is just bonkers. There's the proximity chat like changes based on like whether or not you're in a cave, whether you're far away, which just sets up so much natural humor of like someone falling to their death and you hear them just going like, because they're literally falling away further than you. The way that it's asking you to like work together and like cooperate and like manage risk in that game, but still just be this like very bite-sized, like arcadey, cooperative, task-based game. It's a really smart game that's just like comes across as very simple, because it is. At the end of the day, it's like manage your stamina. The more weight, the less you have, the more like stamina you lose. The more hungry you are, the more stamina you lose. But just climb up and help people. But like the climbing feels so good. The means at which you can help your teammates feels so good. Like it's not just limited to like short form horror games. Like there's so much more to this genre.
Okay. Yeah. Because that also is like an issue that happened with this genre, that a lot of it was like very horror focused, very like dark, like Five Nights at Freddy's aesthetic.
Well, if anything too, like given that we're talking about like Peak in terms of this, I would say that especially once it got the multiplayer update, Power Wash Simulator feels like it falls into this genre of just hanging out, doing a little, doing a little task together.
That's a really good. You know what I would call this genre? Like cracking open a cold one game.
A cold one game? That's pretty good.
Yeah, you would just like, because I remember it's a brewski game. I would play it specifically with my college friends just because it was like, we just need something to talk about, but we don't want the game to distract us while we're talking. And Power Wash is like the ultimate game for that.
Yeah, it's the ultimate like yep King of the Hill game.
Yeah, that's what we were doing, and we're talking about completely like unrelated things to the game, because you're just kind of focusing on a task that's gonna take a while anyway.
Yeah.
So it's good in that respect.
I have my name for what I would prefer Friendslop games. I do feel pretty strongly about this one. I mean, but like I think this does capture what it actually is going for. My suggestion is that we call them gig games, because all of them are about doing a little task together.
Maybe sure, okay, but let's workshop that. That's not as good as your nurturing. like
Okay.
one and done, baby. I feel like gig games, number one, it doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
It doesn't. The
Number two, it feels like I'm gonna play a game where I'm an Uber driver.
I mean, but that's kind of what they are, though. Like, a lot of these games, the humor is based on putting you in kind of like nefarious situations that you don't have a lot of control over, that are like more short form, like taking a like having to do like an Uber driving thing.
I guess like if you found a way to describe that, the fact that it's also a social experience, which is the main draw of these games. Because gig implies work. Gig implies job, which I don't want to do when I play video game, even if I am doing that. So I would maybe kind of lean more toward like teamwork game or...
Honestly, teamwork game sounds fine. Like,
yeah, how is that not a thing, actually?
No, a team building game.
Yeah, team building game.
Because they're all like that evokes like team building exercises, which are not meant to be like these long format things. They're short activities that get you to like have these social interactions. So yeah, team building.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, how is teamwork games not a genre already? Or let me see. I even looked it up. Team building games. No, see, if I look up team building games, they just give me like fucking Zoom call meeting games.
Yeah.
Which we don't want.
Because that also describes something like what is it? The iPad based like space game. We're having to like shout out different tasks.
Oh god, I remember this. What was it called? Space Team? There's one called
Space Team. That's it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I would say Space Team captures that, because that's also like that same kind of like short form. You're doing a little task together.
Wow, I'm learning so much today. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I think we got it. Okay,
Yeah.
team building games.
Teamwork / team building. I think both are interchangeable. Kind of like
Yeah, I like team building because it does harken to like going to some activity for your job as like this little like one day thing.
Okay, yeah, it implies that it has the gig built into it.
Yeah, the team building exercise. Like it's meant to be like a one and done thing. It's like, yep, and now you're together.
All right,
now you're friends now because you caught the guy when they fell towards you.
All right, you sold me on that. That's
okay. Okay, well let's get to our final one then.
Am I the final one?
Yes.
I'll make this one quick. There's not a lot to say about it anyway, but like,
go for it.
I've seen people more and more lately using the term schmoovement to describe a genre of game.
Schmoovement.
And dear listener, I want you to know I'm pointing at you and going, stop it now.
I like saying schmoovement.
Full disclosure. I do think schmoovement works as a term to define like when someone is using tech that requires precise and muscle memory fueled movement in a game. I don't know if fueled is the right word, but
yeah.
It's a game where like muscle memory is key to like how mobility works in the game.
Yeah. For me, a schmoovement game is like it's allowing a much higher degree of personality, or like you can self-expression through the movement. There is a much higher skill ceiling, and it's much more about how you choose to move through an environment and how expressive that is.
Sure. I wonder, like, because you know how the term started, right? People don't know exactly when it started, but a lot of people say it is born in the Smash community. From like,
that sounds about right, because I feel it comes up from a lot from like a lot of the fighting game people that also play a lot of those like platform games where you're basically wave dashing in them.
It kind of is like pertaining to things like wave dashing, so that's why I think is more tech focused rather than expression focused. So yeah, I kind of, the problem is like when people use this term to define a genre, it's another one of these cases where it's like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like you earlier you were saying like I don't like saying the term Metroidvania, and then people just look at me like, what does that mean? I feel like schmoovement is that too. Like no one's gonna know what the fuck you're saying, except for people who are sickos and all they do is play video games all day.
I will say, at the very least, when you explain to someone that it just is a shorthand for smooth movement, like, and you say like schmoovement, like I don't know, I think that elicits a lot better of a response or a feling than most of these.
That's not even
genres.
correct though. It's not an onomatopoeia. It's just like people are. It's like saying it's just like saying sandwich schmangwich. You know, like it just kind of became a thing that people said.
I'm just saying that if I said, yeah, he's moving on me or he's schmooving on me, like they're different. You can't maybe put exactly why they're different, but they're different.
Okay, I'm backing up a bit, but what you said is fine, yes, and that's cool. You can say that, and people will be like, "Oh, yeah, that's funny," but to take an entire game and say it's a schmoovement game, tell me what that means. Like, what does that mean? What is a schmoovement game? I
would say like actually answering your question, for me, the schmoovement games are sort of like they're a parallel from the collectathon style games. Or collectathons, your 3D platformers and that style of game are more about like how you progress through like a level. It's more about like exploring the space and like going through the space. The schmoovement game is more specifically about like movement tech, expression, momentum, speed, like options variability. So you've got your like Demon Turf, Demon Tides, Pseudo Regalia is a Metroidvania schmoovement game.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is not what I think of when I hear schmoovement game.
What do you think of?
I think of like Armored Core, or Zone of the Enders, or like Virtual On. Games that require you to have a very, very deep understanding of movement tech in that game. That's a schmoovement game to me. Like being able to dodge on command and have full control of your character.
I would certainly say that a lot of Armored Core games have some schmoovement to them. Daemon X Machina has schmoovement.
Daemon X Machina is a pretty good schmoovement game, if I had to use the term to describe something. But I still don't like it because it doesn't. It's not like character action game where I can immediately see like what we see or what we describe.
Yeah, I'm trying to look up other ones that are kind of in this genre. So there's like, a lot of these like retro platformer games, but they have like a much higher degree of movement tech. So like Ruffy and the Riverside, Hat in Time, what else? Caro Quest 64. Oh, Big Catch. That's a schmoovement game. Because there's like so much.
I can kind of see it being a schmoovement game, because there's a lot of like running around in that one.
Yeah, and like there's a lot you can like. There's canceling. There's like such a degree of control that you have on your movement. Even I would say like Mario Odyssey is the most schmoovement of the Mario platformers.
Oh, man, schmoovement describes technique, tech, controls. It does not describe the game. That's my problem.
So
Mario is a platformer.
Okay, that's fair.
A 3D platformer.
So what would your new name for schmoovement be?
If you were to define a game based on schmoovement alone, I would say maybe call it like control tech game, or like
I think you kind of hit it a second ago with like just adding tech as a qualifier. So like a platform tech game.
A platform tech, or like a tech mechanic game, or like a tech movement, even though it already has the word movement in it, we're inevitably just gonna abbreviate it. But yeah, I think if you want me to know exactly what you're talking about, the word tech immediately paints a picture. Like I can see people high level play for Zone of the Enders being schmoovement.
So maybe a technique game.
Not technique, because like that also isn't encompassing enough. No, you said it earlier. No, you had it. What was it called? Movement. Tech platformer, or tech fighting, or tech mech. Oh man, I love tech mech.
Ooh, yeah.
You get
the the Verde sauce.
Ooh, I like tech mech.
I made a Verde sauce for the first time from scratch, and it was really good, actually.
What the hell are you talking about?
The tech mech.
Shut up. Be quiet. All right. No, I like tech mech even though it does sound like Tex-Mex, and now I can't unhear it.
But it certainly rolls off the tongue. But yeah, a tech game, and there's varying
tech
degrees
platformer,
of
tech fighter. Platformer. Like Melee is a tech fighter. I would call that. Yeah. Like,
I think we got it.
Tech is sexy and like strong. Tech, like yeah. Schmoovement is like schmoovement, and then you go, huh? If you're a fucking normie.
I'm gonna just move on to some tech. Thank you. That's I like that one though.
Yeah. All right.
Well, let's get to my final one. And likewise, I think mine is pretty quick too. My final genre is roguelite.
You know, I almost picked roguelike. Isn't that funny?
All
right.
So, roguelites evolve from roguelikes, which evolve from rogue, which is a procedurally generated, turn-based, grid-based, run-based RPG where you're going through a dungeon.
1980.
Yeah, it's wild. You can play. It is free. You can just play it right now.
I love that. That's my favorite word right now.
Yeah, I played so much NetHack in college. It was great.
That's cool.
Yeah. But anyways, so all of these kind of stem from these, and I think this is where like a lot of people get like really almost like something's being taken away from them by the fact that like rogue likes don't really refer to like the turn-based permadeath. Even people are like taking problem or umbrage with the fact that like a lot of these games now have like a persistent like thing that you're building up in the background, like you're upgrading like innate powers, and so it's no longer like this pure thing where it's like, no, now that it's not turn-based, now that it's like you can like contributing like overall like progress towards something, like it's no longer a roguelike. But
I mean, that's where the term roguelite came from, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what I wrote down was a roguelite is
down
when you're roguing is a procedurally or randomly generated run-based game where a fail state permanently resets major aspects of character progression.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, honestly, like I don't have too much to say on this one because like that is the interesting part of like what to take from Rogue. It's not strictly the like turn-based, you could say a classic roguelike, to really harken back to like the games that originally inspired it and more like are more playing exactly like that. But really the core thing that matters here is when you die, you get reset quite a bit. Mm-hmm. You have like a stats based or like some sort of progression that's not just like a power up. That's the difference between something like Mario. Like, yeah, you start your run over when you like die and go back to the level and you lose your mushroom, but like that's not progress. You're not building up Mario into anything. But yeah, it's doing the run and having like each run be unique and having to adapt to like new scenarios that are like all put together in front of you. And then when you die, you start over. Like, I think that's the core thing that like, that's all that really matters for the genre, for like what really truly means like being like Rogue. I think that's more important than anything else, than any turn-based or hunger mechanics or any weird things like that.
Oh, I see. So you feel like the genre has expanded to the point where the term no longer kind of applies to it?
Yeah, or more like
it's got all the frills and features that kind of turn it into something else entirely.
Yeah, the like roguelite is like the more important thing is the run, not it being turn-based strictly or something like that. Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand a little bit because like I guess I kind of agree though with what you're coming from, because I almost picked this just because I do have an issue with how it's become like a Metroidvania thing where like we're just kind of throwing this to a game that just kind of similarly does what you said, the gameplay loop, and then that's it. And it kind of is becoming like a very prevalent genre, same as Metroidvania was, where it's like almost every indie game now wants to be like that. That's an exaggeration. It's hyperbolic. It's not almost every, but you see a lot of them come up thanks to the likes of like...
It is like the IPA of indie game genres, where you're like...
It kind of is becoming that. Yeah,
I get it.
I get it. I've had one, and I feel like I've had them all. And it like we were talking about Hades 2 the other day, and how we feel that even though it's cool that there's a Hades sequel, seeing Supergiant do another roguelite was kind of disappointing, because I feel like there's so much of this already.
Yeah, just because there's a glut of it and it feels like those games don't have the same impact. I feel like doesn't invalidate the genre.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is that these games have to innovate somehow in order to stand out. But at that point, are they even roguelites anymore? You know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe, is that where you're coming from?
A little bit, which is why I
Okay.
really want to harken to like what are like the core elements here that actually matter. So I have my new name.
Okay.
I think either a run based game or a loop game is really like that's what you really need to like hold on to.
Yeah, I think gameplay loop is a good way of seeing it. Returnal is a game where I first thought of like, oh, gameplay loop. I get
Yeah.
it. Instead of thinking, oh, roguelite, I get it.
Yeah. It's more about like getting reset and going back and trying again. And so I think a loop game is
So like, yeah, would Super Mario Brothers be a roguelite or a roguelike if you only had like 0 lives every time you start a game? Would that make it a roguelike then?
No, because it's like it's not about the like the run, the like, you know, the game momentum, building up the Mario and trying to like overcome the challenge and getting reset. Also, because like, I mean, if you did a Mario game where like the levels are procedurally generated and maybe like you're collecting like items for Mario, then you'd have one. Because I'm just describing Spelunky.
I guess like the issue I personally have with the roguelite / light genre is that it's precisely that, what I just said. Like, why are there 2 different versions of this, and why do they both sound extremely similar? And does anyone even know the difference between them?
And it stops like it's really only for being pedantic. So like, you know, with my new suggested system, you know, you have a loop game, and if you say a classic loop game, that means a game that's without having to say roguelike or Zelda-like or anything like, just say classic as a modifier to say like the games that like it plays specifically like the games that originally inspired it and not just like iterating off of its core mechanics.
Sure.
So
I want to give loop game more punch though. Like I wonder if
what do you got?
If there's a like maybe a
groundhog game.
I would play a groundhog game if I was a groundhog.
Ooh.
Yeah, maybe like a loop cycle, maybe, or
a cycle game.
No, because
I feel like you gotta have
I wanted to have the composite name though, like a loop cycle loop, continue loop, try again game,
a try again game.
This one I mean, let's just call it loop and be done with it.
I think try again game actually hits it a little bit better than
try again games. You know, it's like tongue-in-cheek enough that if you want to insult this type of genre, but then like kind of appropriate the title to be like, yeah, actually I like try again games.
Yeah, try again game sounds like the genre that like a 6-year-old would come up with, and frankly I think it describes it a lot better than roguelike.
Yeah, I think oh man, what's a roguelike? Because I always think, here's the problem too, like which one has been a roguelike? Because everything we get right now is roguelite. Like we get the ones with the progression. I can't even think of like an actual like,
because there's like Dungeons of Evermore was like the first like time I called it a roguelike.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Yeah, without the meta progression.
You know what? Okay, here's what we call the classic versions of this.
Okay.
So now we have like a loop game, a run game, a do-over game is just for like try again game. But then if you want to specifically say the classic, like a game that plays like the game Rogue, it is a mystery dungeon game.
But that already exists.
Yes, I know, and it's a good name.
It is a good name. But it already exists.
No, I like it because if I call something a mystery dungeon, it's evocative. I'm not about to call something a Sheeran like.
But I will think of Sheeran the Wanderer if you say mystery dungeon game. I'll think of that. I'll think of Torneco, and I'll think of.
But you're in a mysterious dungeon.
I know. There's a lot of games that are that, and
exactly,
and they literally
which is
are.
why it should be a genre name.
But it is already. That's what I'm saying. You're not. You can't. You're doing the thing. You can't invent a train. It already exists.
Oh, fine. A dungeon mystery game.
All right, fine. Okay.
Well, I think we've got some good ideas there. Again, please, if you listening, dear listener, if you've got some
try
ideas.
Again. I like try again.
Game.
It's tongue in cheek enough.
Do you like try again or do over game?
Oh, do-over is the traditional. Try again is the meta.
Okay. Oh god, that's even worse. Okay. I'm never gonna remember which one is which. Okay, well we can you know, Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red. You can be try again game. I'll be do-over game.
Big Pokemon try again and Pokemon do-over.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess. Do you have any final thoughts? I mean, I think really it's just language. Like we kind of have what sticks, unfortunately, and I think the places where it matters will be when you're like actually trying to effectively communicate with someone, and you won't have to rely solely on shorthand like this.
Okay.
You know, I my hope is that we do start evolving away from the likes and the Metroidvanias and like the, you know, calling genres based on like names of other games. But I give a lot of I'm not too picky about it because I just understand that the nature of this is it's really difficult to describe how games feel without comparing them to other games. So unfortunately, that's just kind of the quirk of how the art works.
I guess if you want my takeaway from this, yeah, I agree with you. This is a hard thing to do, and it's something that has to account for like the intuitiveness of how many people can understand something with just the shorthand. But I also think that the people we have left in charge of this shit are not creative enough to be doing this for us. Mm-hmm. And so like...
Not even leaving in charge, it's just the loudest voices.
Yeah, and unfortunately they're just not the most creative ones. It's a similar issue with Lego collecting. Kyle, I hate that the modern gray color for Lego is... within the community is called light bluish gray. Like, to me, this is the dumbest thing ever, because it in the year 2000, around the year 2000, I want to say like mid 2000s, Lego switched their gray colors from a warmer gray to a cooler gray, and that's what they are. It's just warm gray, cool gray. But whoever was left in charge of doing the naming conventions for parts inventory websites was not an artist and did not understand color theory, so they came up with the stupidest name ever. And I feel like I kind of feel this way about some game genres names. Like, we just kind of let people decide, and no one was there to be like, that's actually a bad idea. Everyone just got hyped up on the product and kept all the supply. So that being said, though, some of it you can't help, and it's fine, like whatever. But I really wish we learned more from like music genres, where like they are incredibly descriptive, they are incredibly helpful. They not only describe what you hear, but like generationally you understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, it does.
Things
like
are updated constantly with the growing times and the changing times. That doesn't happen with games. I feel like we just try to stick to what's there already and make it worse and more complicated.
Yeah, you're right. Because like originally rock music was called pop music.
Yeah, but that doesn't work because like rock is harder, right? And then rock became like all these other subgenres, and then that has its own subgenre. Yeah. And to a lot of people,
the music genres are way more evocative, like save for like alternative or something. But even then,
yeah, sometimes there is the we don't know what to call this. So
yeah, but then most people would call like a lot of art alternative is like, okay, but are you talking about like something like Weezer? Then that's more like college rock. You know?
Yeah, there's always a genre that will describe what that type of music is. And the purpose of it is not to like jerk ourselves off about how smart we are. It's to help other people understand, hey, if you like this, look for that genre, because that's what like that is what that music is.
I like that. Yeah, try to be more like the music genres, because those all the names or different genres in music are like way more evocative. You know, like DIY, metal, a question zone.
Yeah. Welcome to the question. Wait, I'm not done. Wait. But like, this is why I really like how music genres are composite words. They're not just like, no one's out here going Weezer-like. You know what I mean? Like, no one's out here.
Holy shit, we should.
No, we shouldn't. That's what we're doing with games, though. And like, that doesn't help anyone. Like, what if I don't like Weezer? I guess I'll never like any of these other songs that everyone says are Weezer-like. I feel that way about Soulslike games. Like, I agree with you. Why are we need to change that? Because like you describe a game Souls-like to me, I will never want to fucking play it because I don't like Souls games.
God,
so
imagine if it worked like that, and like all modern pop music is like a Beatles Stones.
Yeah, basically, that's what we're doing with games, and we need to stop. And I feel like my final takeaway, and we can move to the question zone after this. Like, I think you and I should start putting these like terms into practice to see if they really help people understand.
Yeah, or at the very least, I'm gonna try to use like the word Metroidvania less. I'll probably personally just call it an exploration game because that's what you're doing.
No, do that. No, that's what I'm saying. Do that. If you can come up, don't just let other people tell you what to say and do. Come up with your own solutions to these problems. Like, this is what I want to do. I wrote down all of the titles we came up with just so that I can use them in conversation and see if it sticks, see if it works, see if people go, oh yeah, I know what you mean.
Like, because a lot of this is tongue in cheek. I'm
excited
nurturing.
to like try that out. Yeah, I'm excited to try that out. Like, yeah, it's like a nurturing game and see if people go, oh, because then I'm like, see, fucking got it. Yeah. See, like we need solutions.
Because you can't look at Silent Hill 2 and say it's a nurturing game.
No, you cannot. But some people call it a cozy game. But it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that's it. Anyways. All right, welcome to Question Zone. Get ready.
Yes, we've entered the Question Zone. Sorry, I lost my place in my thing. We've entered the Question Zone. We've solicited a number of questions. You can contact us at brainlordspod@gmail.com. And we asked people if they had any genres that they would like to rename. And we got a couple of responses. Our first is from Miss Looking Glass, ooh, good name, who says,
nice.
Immersive sims. I feel like such a nerd saying it, but what else do you call it? Can't say some kind of RPG or you exclude Thief. Systems-driven design? Gosh, I don't know. Y'all are smart. I believe you can beat me. That's all. I put a lot of faith in us, Miss Looking Glass. What's funny enough is like I think like a lot of those games get called 0451 games because of a reference to Fahrenheit 451 in like System Shock or something like that.
I think like 2 people use that. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's if you say that to a certain group of sickos, they will exactly know what you're talking about.
Oh, the sickos.
Yeah, which like it is a 0451 game is the kind of game where you can look up the access code to a safe and it's 0451.
Oh my God. Okay, whatever.
But anyways, yeah, I mean, I actually kind of like immersive sim because at least it's like evocative.
What can you give me an example of a game that is an immersive sim? I'm actually not sure what
Deus Ex, the newer Prey games. Are
they necessarily like first person games or?
Many of them are.
Okay.
Thief is one of them.
Thief. Okay. What makes it a sim though?
It's more. So I think that the first one that really gets cited as it is Ultima Underworld.
Ultima Underworld.
Yeah, which is like it's a first Ultima Underworld is kind of like what a lot of the modern Elder Scrolls games play like.
Mm-hmm.
It's a first person like.
Okay, so what Elder Scrolls, Morrowind or Skyrim?
Immersive sim RPG is a good way to describe them. Basically, like immersive sims are games where like it is about your interaction with the world, but it's more about how the systems or mechanics of the world are interacting with one another and your freedom to manipulate them. So like, you know, it's...
Okay, so if you commit a crime, there's consequences for the crime.
Somewhat, but it's more like... It's more like there's a door that's locked and it's like you can bash the door open with with a high strength or like a grenade or something. You can find a key or like learn a spell to unlock it, or like, you know, the key could be like just looking through boxes, or it could be like looking up a password on a computer.
Hey, wait a second. This is a good descriptor for the genre, because I'm understanding now, like, a game that like where you can interact with things in various ways, not just like there isn't just one way to unlock a door. Like, yeah, if you come up with it, you can do it.
It's largely the strength of these games is like if you could think of a solution, then it might actually work. The game responds to that.
Okay.
So yeah, like a system game, which also harkens to like System Shock is one of the early games that that did it.
Is it because it's literally called System Shock?
Yeah. No, I'm saying you could call
System-like?
it a system game because both harkens back to System Shock and also.
Okay. Oh, you're saying you're coming up with
Yeah. Okay, I got one actually. A lateral
I like
game.
immersive sim. A lateral game?
Because you employ lateral
Nah.
thinking to.
Boo. Sorry.
Listen,
Boo.
I'm sorry, Miss Looking Glass.
No, I got one. Hold up.
What you got?
I just like immersive sim a lot. So I guess maybe player freedom games like player agency. I think it's another good like yeah, like a agency simulator. No, I don't want to use the term simulator. No, because I think the important thing about these games is the agency. Like, how much can you do, even if it's a bad thing? Like, even if it's a thing you shouldn't be doing.
How about a reaction game? Because it's all about how the world like reacts to other things in the world.
A player. No, I actually really like player agency.
Player agency game. Okay.
Yeah. Just because that is the appeal of it. Like people want to feel like they have the freedom to be creative in a solution to a problem.
And I like that one too, because like a lot of these games are like how you could be playing a named character, but it's how you inhabit this world, how you solve these problems.
How you interact, like
games.
Dialogue, character dialogue is very important. The options to have many like conversations is very important. Just a game that makes you feel like you can be you. So yeah.
We have one other comment from Luna who says, what people call RPGs should more often than not be called stat-em-ups.
Damn, see? That's what I'm talking about. Although I hate the term shoot 'em ups, so set 'em ups. Nah, fuck that. We're calling spreadsheet games now.
Spreadsheet games, Luna, we got you. We got your back. Don't worry.
Got you, Luna. Here's a spreadsheet. Go crazy.
Here, just Dangle's little
All right. Any more?
No, that's all we got for today. But
well, thank you. Wow, questions from people. I love it.
Yeah, no, that was good. I do agree that like immersive sim it's evocative, but like it doesn't really mean anything on its own. So
yeah, I had to ask many questions to figure out what the hell that even meant. So maybe to their point, it needed a little fixing.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has been. Oh wait, so shit. We gotta do. Why don't we end? It's been a long day. Well, Jorge, why don't we end with a trip to the rec room where we recommend something inside and outside the world of gaming?
Okay.
I would like to start.
We're here. We are again. Let's go.
Minor quick. Speaking of Friendslop games or just games that are fun to play with friends that might not require a high degree of commitment. I've been playing with Jorge.
But you said you hate saying that. Don't say it.
I'm just segueing here.
Okay, fine.
Anyway, speaking of fun short format multiplayer games, I've been playing a lot of Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin lately.
Let's go.
And it's great because I got it for $13. I know Neo 3 just came out. I like the Neo series of games, but I think I'm not in the mood for like a really heavy systems driven game right now with a lot of like loot. Don't get me wrong, Stranger of Paradise has loot out the butt.
Sure has fucking loot.
But man, you just go in your menu, you hit a button that's like, give me the good loot.
Yeah,
and it equips the good
everything
loot.
below this level, and it will do that.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? As much as it annoys me to have to constantly keep re-equipping things, the fact that I just get a dice roll of like, when I hit equip all of my new good loot, I could look like the dumbest motherfucker in the world for about like 45 minutes.
You can look. It ranges from like you can look like a badass dragoon in one
to like
out.
Final Fantasy Michael Jackson.
Yeah, you accidentally pick up 7 new equipments that might make you look like a fedora tipping.
You don't understand the fedora
guy.
is stronger than the dragoon mask at your current level.
I gotta say though, Jack does rock the fedora a little bit.
He does actually. It looks good on him. He's got that like dad look, that like Woody Harrelson look. But yeah, it's
hold up, maybe not that one. Maybe not that dad look. Oh yeah, Woody Harrelson. No, he's cool. He's cool.
Well, just because he's got the short blonde hair. But anyways, yeah, no, it's sort of a weird retelling of like Final Fantasy 1, but like kind of a strange spin on it, where like chaos is getting formed again, and Jack is this like dude that is just hell-bent on destroying chaos and nothing else. He is like ace representation because his sexuality is I want to fucking kill chaos and nothing else. Oh
yeah, he's ace, yeah, for sure.
But like he's it's a game where like I initially like wrote it off because you see the cutscenes and you're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
but when
me
you
too.
actually like take it at its base value, like kind of knows that Jack is just kind of a stick in the mud, but in a way that's like just kind of funny to watch.
There are some genuinely okay. So real quick, I fucking love this game. I'm glad you recommended it. It is the closest thing I'm ever gonna get to a Final Fantasy 1 remake on the level of Final Fantasy 7 remake, and I am okay with that. Even if I hate certain parts of the story that I think are silly, there are some genuinely deep moments.
I like the character
like some of the
dialogue.
throwaway dialogue. Yeah.
Yeah. They do canned lines that appear mid through a level that's just like a character beat of Jack like being a little bit more accommodating to his allies or something like that.
Like
just like
he
it just
slowly warms up to them.
it actually does
kind of
a pretty
adorable.
high degree of like show don't tell, just like in the game. And you play with your
Surprisingly.
friends, you pick your build, and you're like, I'll do Ren Mage, and like you try it out, and it's just kind of it's not asking a lot of you. Like we're not even doing the side missions, and we're just steamrolling it.
For a game that has side characters going like, you need to push the lever so the door will open. Looks like the weather will change if we push this button. It also has like poignant moments between the characters, and there are some like honest to God cool plot twists later in the game that recontextualize Final Fantasy 1 in an interesting way, though some that I don't like, but still A+ for effort.
Yeah, I see why people die for this game. I see why it's everyone's favorite 7 out of 10. It's for what it is.
It's
nice.
Oh man, it's a 7 out of 10. But goddamn,
Yeah.
sometimes I just think about that game like, man, I just want to beat this shit out of a Tom Berry.
The thing is,
like, I don't
when
know.
it was on sale for $13, that means that like I could buy it for
God,
my
that's a
friends for
steal.
$36 to have a
That is
game
a
for all of us to
steal,
play,
yeah.
and that's less than like one copy of like one major multiplayer game. So yeah,
It's a
try
good
it
ass
out.
time.
And real quick, my non-gaming thing I'd like to recommend is I don't know if you're anything like me, you've been really frustrated with the amount of AI music for video game covers lately. It's been really, really annoying that I can't find like original cover music without it being AI generated. Which means that even if you're not as bothered by that, all the songs 1 minute in, like they all just become a nothing burger of a cover because the program can't generate anything beyond like a minute, and it's just like, cool, well, here's a jazz solo and the song just sounds like, anyways, I'm rambling. The point is all of these AI generated music like channels are like annoying, and they keep popping up, and it can be harder and harder to differentiate them. So I'm going to recommend some channels. Big Bool makes playlists for video games that are like more deep cuts. And he's always doing stuff like let me just look through his most recent videos. It's like stuff that you wouldn't just immediately think of. It's not just the same like Mario music. For example, his most recent game playlists were Gallop Racer, Street Fighter EX, PlayStation Home, Hotel Dusk, F-Zero GX. And it's just
Dusk? Damn.
Yeah, so it's just remixing some of the songs to create like a little bit of a playlist. So yeah, Big Bool is great. Alicio, Alf, and finally Alamo with 2 M's, ALAMMO, has been doing remixes or like music playlists for specifically PC98 games. And so if you want to hear a lot of video game music that is just like video game music you've probably never heard, because if you're like me, like you just don't hear a lot of PC98 music, yeah, it's really cool to hear like new chiptune music that are new to me. And they're just cranking out these really nice little playlists, and chances are you might have seen them on your feed. So yeah, check out these people. Finally, also, they might beat Gygus. Is that They Might Be Giants?
Okay, you're going all out.
Earthbound mashup album, and if any of those words appeal to you, it is like one of my favorite things I've listened to in a little while. It's for the sickos, but yeah, those are my recommendations.
I like that. I'm glad that you sent me They Might Beat Gygus, because it is the most like 2005 thing I've ever heard in my life.
You were listening to it, and you have no context for They Might Be Giants, and you were like, this is the most Starman.net thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, I feel like if this was like someone going like, oh, I mashed up They Might Be Giants, or yeah, They Might Be Giants with Earthbound in a Starman.net forum post, I would have been like, Oh yeah, that's where it happened. That's when it happened. I can see myself in my college classroom, like touring the forums, downloading the songs to listen to while I'm working on whatever I am in class. God, it brought me back in a really weird way. A nostalgia I didn't know I had for something that didn't exist back then.
The remix too is done really well, like in a way that like all the songs that pick like match what's going on. They pitch shift it in a way that like fits the theme.
Oh yeah, it's not
when
just,
they're playing.
It's not just slapping two tracks together. They actually
when they play the bicycle track for Earthbound, it's like a song about being on a bicycle. So it's like it fits. It's really clever. Even if you don't know either of those as much, like I enjoyed it. So
neat.
But yeah,
thank you. I do like your recommendation.
Yeah, and thanks for humoring me on that. I just I don't know, it just hit. You could tell how genuine it was.
Yeah.
But
okay.
What you got, Jorge?
All right. So for games, this is my new fucking obsession. It's funny you bring up a Team Ninja game because this is a Team Ninja game that I'm recommending too. Ninja Gaiden Black. I haven't played
that one.
Ninja Gaiden Black is the updated version of Ninja Gaiden 2004 on the Xbox. Okay. It is a lot of people consider it the definitive version of Ninja Gaiden, and I agree with them. It is number one, you can play it on the Series X if you have a Series X, and it'll play at like 60 frames per second. Buttery smooth 60 frames per second. I have never cared about FPS more than I did now. And it's a game that like it really challenges you to like commit things to muscle memory in a way that's like kind of addictive to me. I am normally not into these like beat the fuck out of you masochist games, like learn the hard trial by fire. I'm normally not into these like trial by fire games are like.
It's funny the way you describe these games. I'm like, he's so close. Like I could get him to like Sekiro.
I know.
And then I get you to like Sekiro. I get you to like Bloodborne. I get you like Bloodborne. It's all over for you.
This is like the. It's like that gif of the bimbo picking up the book and becoming a nerd. But the weird thing about Ninja Gaiden is that like no matter how much it kicks my ass, the minute I turn it off, it's all I'm fucking thinking about. And I'm like, oh my god, I could like redo that one boss fight, and if I just like swallowtail the fuck out, okay, maybe I can like memorize the Izuna drop and try it on the and it's like, dude, stop, Ryu, please leave my brain.
Yeah, no,
Ryu,
and there's it like activates something in your brain where you're like, you beat the boss fight because you like do the like a weird like jump cancel thing that kind of stun locks them, and you're like, you know what, no, like I want to do it like the honorable way. God.
No, the satisfaction. No, I'm gonna be dishonorable. Actually, the most satisfying thing in a boss fight is finding out that if you just jump at the right time, they can't fucking hit you with their bullshit attack. And I'm like, oh, I fucking got you. You're so dead now. And
I guess I just like being able to be like, you know what? No, fuck it. Like, we're going nunchucks. Like this, I will defeat this boss with this weapon, no matter what.
Not with the nunchucks. Oh my god, no. I love the big stick, Lunar. And yeah, I'm a sucker for ninjas in game. I probably have said this before. You put a ninja in a video game and I fucking play it. And for some reason, I've never played Ninja Gaiden. Oh, because it was on the Xbox. That's why I never played it. But now I can, and I'm like, you know what? I'm really interested in Ninja Gaiden 4 because it is like Platinum Games collabing with Team Ninja, and I am super curious how that would work. So I'm like, okay, because I am the way I am, I'm going to start from the beginning. So I'm going to play Ninja Gaiden Black because it is the only version you can get digitally right now, which is annoying. But yeah, I recommend it if you're a sicko and you want to like get beat up by demons and horrible monsters and hot monster ladies that look cool. Please play this game. I believe the hype now. I understand why people love these games.
In 2026, the sex appeal holds up a lot better. It felt a little gross at the time because it was just so leering and like of its time. But now you're just like, everyone's in leather and it's stupid and we're fighting demons. Yeah.
I guess back then it was because it like if you're a horny boy, it would just be fucking distracting, and yeah, like I wouldn't really understand but yeah, now I'm like, okay, well, Rachel is hot as hell because like she's like killing demons with a giant axe and also wearing leather, and I'm like, well, shit, this fits the aesthetic. This is a game for masochists. It's fine. So
it doesn't feel as like distance from like Ryu is also wearing leather in like a sexually appealing way. It feels.
Dude,
at least...
I'm a little gay for Ryu. I'm not gonna lie, he's hot. But yeah, that's not the point though, Kyle. I think as long as like a character's design communicates to you the type of person they are, it's okay if she wants to have her tits out.
Or like is evocative of like the world or like a style or
yeah. So it's a rough fucking world, so she's gotta be tough too. And that's all I'm asking for. Give the character some context as to why they look like that, and it works for me now. Anyway. That's
what
my
you
game.
got.
Also,
what you got? That's not. What's up?
One day when we have more time, I'm gonna tell the story of how I have a fucking Ryu Hayabusa standee in my home right now.
Yeah, let's let's save that for the intro to the next episode.
That's so funny. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Okay. So, and for non-video game, I have a. So it is. Hello everyone. Did you know that it is Black History Month? Yes. So my friend has been like sending me movies of like that are culturally meaningful in the Black diaspora. So I am like binging so much movies right now, which is great because I have things to recommend finally. And I want to say that like the one that really got me is a movie called Set It Off from 1996.
Okay.
It stars Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah, Vivica A. Fox, and Kimberly Elise in a heist movie where 4 friends are like, fuck this fucking shit, we're gonna rob banks now.
Wait, is it like... Oh, wait. So like it's like 4 like younger women, right? Oh, yeah. No, I've heard of this one.
Yeah.
It's like surprisingly kind of feminist.
Dude, no, it's super feminist. It's great. Yeah. Like, you gotta watch it. It's like crazy. It's a fucking like... I was like, my mouth was on the floor at the ending. I was like, this is insane. Like,
yeah,
it goes to 10.
Yeah, it also has like a lot of things to say about like what puts people in these positions and
no, actually, like each of them have a backstory and they explain to you why someone would make some fucking stupid ass shit decisions like this, because at one point you were just put in a corner, you're just backed into a corner and you got nowhere else to go. And they all just go like, let's fucking rob a bank because fuck this shit. And the
girls are heisting.
They all have like a reason to do it. So, and that's another thing. Like the characters are really well thought out. Their dynamic is excellent. All the actresses play really well off each other. And yeah, it's a movie about like how, I guess right now I'm kind of sensitive toward that topic too, where it's like things go from bad to worse and you just don't have any control over that. And the movie is all about that. So I guess certainly, like that is why I was drawn into it at first, because I'm like, shit, I'm feeling this right now. Fuck.
Certainly, yeah, seeing people struggling to get by and like just getting a one-up or trying to, even if they fail.
And no matter how much you do the right thing, it just does not work out. You know, like that. That's the big one. It's a bit of an underdog story in that respect too.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking. It's an underdog like.
Set It Off. Stop. Set It Off. 1996. Please watch it. I cannot say anything else. Every moment is a spoiler. This movie goes from 1 to 11.
Yeah.
Yes, please watch it. It's good.
Yeah,
it's good. And it's free. You can. I think Pluto got it for free, so you don't even have to rent it.
Yeah, I just know about it because I saw some cool literary criticism on it, but like I've never actually watched it, so I should check it out. That's awesome.
Also, it's a little bit gay, so if you're that I was certainly surprised. I'm not gonna say who, but I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, especially for 1996, having anything that's
no, that's the other thing. It was like one of the characters is unapologetically gay, and I was like, it's very refreshing for a movie from the 90s to just not like hide that at all. So yeah,
nice. Well, this has been Brainlords, the podcast that's a bit of an insert credit like. You can find us on social media at BrainlordsPod. And if you've made it this far, please help us grow. 5-star ratings and word of mouth are always appreciated. You can find me on social media as Cute Monster Props or on my website, cutemonsterprops.com. Jorge, where can they find you?
You can find me bringing shame to the Hayabusa clan by dying repeatedly to Alma and Ninja Gaiden. You can find me at Art of JMV or JManvelas in all social media platforms. You can also go to Fangamer and look up our collections tab by artist and find JMV. That's me. That's all my shit's there. So please check it out. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, questions, comments, and inquiries can go to brainlordspod@gmail.com, and you can find us on YouTube and all other places where podcasts are born. We have been your Brainlords for this evening, reminding you that context beats content every single time.
Thank you. They should make context games. That should be a new genre.
Ooh, what's a context game?
Context game is goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Wake up, smell cat food in your bank account. Don't try to stop the pill that wags the down. Deep world destruction, over and overture. And do I need a apostrophe TV in this dungeon? Don't let's start. This is where I spark. Could believe for all the world that you're my precious little girl. But don't let's start. I've got a weak heart and I don't get around. How you get around?
The much-anticipated Kingdom Hearts sequel will take us to never-before-seen lands like Mount Olympus, and whatever mainstream movie from 2 years ago made over $1 billion? You know what? I could do a better job than that. Next week on Brainlords, returning guest Andrew Bluette helps us design Disney, Squaresoft, and Anything Goes crossovers in the Kingdom Hearts levels they should have made. You know, Freaky Friday would have been a lot better if Jamie Lee Curtis turned into Xehanort.